So are you all about the what is it, hashtag Snyderverse or bring the Snyderverse back?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am. I seriously think. Okay, so a lot of people bash him, but there's certain aspects that I think he does fairly well. But I'm not gonna say everything he's done has been great, but he does have some pretty good visions on the way he wants certain things to be. So I'm kind of like 50-50 on it, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think he's really good at making computer wallpapers most of the time. All his fucking shots look like really good computer wallpapers, and then it's like, then he writes a movie and it's like just trash.
Well, that's the thing though. He's so fucking stubborn though. He wants it his way, like I just
Here we go.
mentioned.
What is up? Welcome back. It's Sunday night here with the Average Boys Podcast, and it's your boy Crispy, and I am here joined with Nico. Nico, what is up? We just had you on last week. It's good to have you, my dude.
Oh my god. Hey, well, first off, thanks for having me. Like you mentioned earlier before we jumped on, I'm hoping David has the time to jump in, but if he doesn't, it's perfectly fine, bro. We got this.
Yeah, we got David. David got us hooked up. He hit up Nico right now. Brian, I know Brian jumped on with us a little bit last week, but this week he's suffering from. He said he picked up some bronchitis with the way the fucking weather's been over there where he's at, and he's not feeling well. And he was like, "Dude, I'll jump on. Like, I'm not 100%. I'm coughing and all stuff." And I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, but like get your rest. Like, we don't mind. You know, I'll hit up David. David's always got a plan. He's always willing to like watch my back and stuff like that." And then last week we had you on the show and it was such an amazing fun time, and we were like, "Hey man, anytime you want to jump on," and you were like, "Yo dude, anytime you guys want me on, just let me know." Yeah, exactly. And I was like, "Most def, dude, we're always looking for average boys, man. It's just what we're doing, man. We're always like, it's the easiest way to put it, man. Every time I bring in friends, it's so crazy because everyone's like, yo man, maybe I'm gonna be an honorary average boy, and I'm like, everybody is like, it's what we all are, man. None of us are. I never claim, even like I would consider like Dell and like all these guys that work in the industries of like the comic books to be more of like a professional set.
Okay.
But like I'm not a professional anything, man. So like when it comes to me talking about movies, or it comes to me talking about which comic books are good and which ones suck and which movies are good and bad, like I don't attack it as a professional with like, with some type of like, oh, value my opinion. I'm just talking, man. I'm just, giving people my opinion. And as long as I feel like I can give solid understanding, then people will understand where I'm coming from. But I'm not expecting them to make decisions based on what I want.
Okay. So you guys, like you just mentioned, you brought me in last week, and I was talking to David after we had the podcast, and I told him like, dude, it felt so fluent, so cool just talking to you all. Like, like it's like you said, there's certain people that they are professionals, or they might, I don't know, like they have a stick up their ass sometimes where they think, yeah, exactly. Where they think their fucking opinion matters and that they're always right, but it was very honest to God. It felt very smooth. The transition when we were talking about the conversations we were having last week, I don't know, man, it felt good. And I love the fact that you kind of already have your own following, so they'll jump in, they'll put in their comments, stuff like that. So
true that. We've been on for long.
I had fun.
Well, check this out. What a surprise. My man, the myth, the legend himself, he made it on the show. Brian D from New Jersey, my boy.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, how you feeling, man? I know you said you were a little bit sick, man.
Yeah, man. Been a little bit sick. Was hit with some bronchitis, but you know what? We played through sick. You know what? Jordan had his flu game. I can come in and talk some nerd shit with you guys, man. How's it going?
Well, as long as you're good, as long as you're comfortable, I told you, like, I totally understand if you needed to take the night. I always got your back when it comes to like the health issue and stuff like that. And nowadays, getting sick ain't a laughing matter. You know what I mean? Like it's always I kind of feel like, I don't know if you feel like that. You probably do, man. Nico, you too. Like nowadays, it's like every time you get a cold, it just doesn't feel like that anymore. It's like It's like you're sitting on the fucking scale in the Moon Knight TV show, and it's like, oh, you could have a cold or you could have hepatitis or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things.
That's a little extreme, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I'm just saying, Brian, I appreciate you, man. I know you got some stuff going on, and I'm really cool that you're here. It's so cool that you're here, dude. It's fucking. I feel like I haven't seen you like.
I told you, listen. As long as I'm not out making money, bro, I'm here with you guys. I love doing this shit, man. Like this.
Yo,
shit,
I seriously think you just
shit.
jumped in here to just fucking
to
go
pick
at
on you.
Yeah,
why would I do that when I have free roam to do that on your own show?
Oh my god!
I could just jump into your show and do that.
Like,
that's what I wanted to do.
Oh shit! I'm gonna fuck up his shit real quick.
That's what I wanted to do. I know where to find you. Trust me, I know where to find you.
Brian. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, so catch us up, man. How's life been treating you and everything? What's been on your mind? What's been on your screens, man?
Honestly, everything's good, man. We've been blessed with a lot of good nerd shit that's been happening. A lot of good TV, a lot of good stuff happening in comics actually too. Sure. Video games. I mean, it's been cool. But me, I'm all good on this end. I really don't have much to complain about. Everybody in my family's healthy. Been, just having to. Other than me being sick, man, everything else is good. I can't complain, man. Once I kick this, I'm golden.
So we brought Nico on the show last week. He had a great time. He was here with me and David, and it was a banger, man. We had a good time, good fluent show, just a good talking points. But I wanted to ask you, since you're back, and Nico's best thing was like, man, whenever I watch your guys' podcast, like one of you always go on like the longest rants, but it makes a lot of sense. He's like, I love listening to that shit. And I have to ask Brian, because I haven't had you on the show in a while. Same thing with Triggs, man. I haven't had Triggs on the show in a while either, but your opinion on the Max Holloway fight, on the Ryan Garcia fight, and what else popped off that day, dude? I know something else. Oh, and if you got to see the bare knuckle fights that we went to.
So I saw the Max Holloway fight. I saw the Ryan Garcia fight. I didn't get a chance to watch the bare knuckle fight. I was working that day. If I was off that day, I would have definitely checked that out. Definitely. The Max Holloway fight, I thought, was a Max Holloway fight. I mean, that went exactly how you think a Max Holloway fight goes. The guy's a badass. What else can I say? Like, he didn't need to stand toe to toe with that kid at the end of the fight, but he decided that he wanted to put on the show for that last couple seconds. Did
you think it was going to go that way between a guy like a heavy hitter like Justin Gaethje versus someone who like picks and chooses his shots like Max Holloway?
What do you mean?
Like, Justin Gaethje to be like a heavy hitter. He's like a dude that works on a farm, grabbing hay barrels all day and throwing them. Yeah. Max Holloway, he doesn't move that kind of weight around, so he has to pick and choose and be very strategic. Being that it was like the BMF fight, that it was supposed to be all balls to the wall, did you think it was going to go in that prospect where like Max Holloway was like such a phenom in that entire fight, like taking control, since like the spinning back kick really was what changed the whole fight on Justin Gaethje?
So. Honestly, I get all the hype around the fight, but it was to me it wasn't anything different from any other Max. And I'm sorry to say this, it wasn't anything different from any other Max Holloway fight. Like that was that's exactly what I was expecting. That's what he does. They were up for the BMF belt for a reason. The guy's a bad motherfucker, bro. Like what else? Yeah. What else can you say? And again, just to put on the show at the end of the that right before he knocked him out was fitting. Going on to the Ryan Garcia fight, I did hop in last week to talk about that really quick, because we do talk about that in our chats on the side. I felt like there was a little bit of hate coming from you, a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit. But you know what? To throw you a little bit of bail, to shoot you a little bit of bail, the guy is easy to hate. He's a hateable character as of right now. But I have been a fan of Ryan Garcia for a while now, before the Tank fight, before anything. I've been speaking his kid's praises for years now. I don't like some of his antics. I think that his chin is still a little bit suspect, to be honest with you. But I have been out on Devin Haney since the Lomachenko fight, bro. Like, I'm still not over that. I'm not over that. Lomachenko won that fight. I don't care what anybody says. Bill Haney, his father, can say whatever he wants, but Haney lost that fight. I do think that that Ryan Garcia win over Devin Haney threw a monkey wrench in a lot of people's plans. I think that a lot of people wanted Devin Haney to hold on to that belt for a while, Well, he did hang on to the belt, but to be unblemished, I'd to say, like they wanted him. I think, what's his name, De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. They wanted this guy to be,
the poster boy,
like the next star.
Yeah, they're trying to poster boy him up for that division.
I had said since the Lomachenko fight, I didn't like that Lomachenko fight for him. I thought Lomachenko was a better fighter, a better technical fighter. Devin Haney really wasn't proven up until then. The whole weight division is kind of cluttered with a lot of heavy hitters, dude. So, and he hadn't fought any of them. He picked the lesser of the evils in Lomachenko, and I thought he still lost. So coming into this fight, I thought Devin Haney was going to win because I felt suspect to the Ryan Garcia antics and the bullshit. I didn't think he was ready, but apparently it was just a ruse, and he was totally ready, and he put the kid on his ass.
It's real crazy because, like, I mean, if you go back to like the old school days, like, Ryan Garcia used to literally beat the shit out of Haney, like throughout all their competition years when they were younger too.
Yeah.
So like when we were coming into this, I felt, especially after the Lomachenko fight, skills wise, I don't think Haney really has it to be at that level. I think they kind of like, tomato canned him all the way up. They picked and choose his fights between. And you know what? Like, I'm not going to say that every fight that he fought wasn't like in his favor, but there's a lot of politics to this kind of boxing. And, there's a lot of
politics in every sport, but boxing and soccer are probably the two most corrupt sports in the world.
Oh, yeah. I just feel that, it was a bad matchup. And I think like, Ryan Garcia having Oscar De La Hoya as his pharmacist doesn't really help him too much. And I think like there is some problem with him, especially since the divorce, that he's been kind of going through a lot of issues. And, and the professionalism of it, if I was his coach, I would have been upset with the 3 pounds thing. Like, that's just my thing. But then would that have changed the fight? I don't think so. It's just 3 pounds. You're going to produce or you're not going to produce. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. But,
Nico, are you a fan of like boxing and all that stuff?
Honestly, I like boxing. I prefer boxing over UFC. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I prefer boxing. But okay. I'm not going to say that I keep up with every fucking fight. It's got to catch my attention. Like the whole Garcia, Haney, like, I'm not going to lie. I seriously thought Haney was possibly going to take it for the exact same thing that you said. I seriously thought Ryan had a little too much like media on him that he wasn't really focused on the actual fucking fight.
Yeah.
Like, like he had other things, people were talking about conspiracy theories and all this other crap that was going on with him, so I didn't believe that his mindset was 100% on the fight at that time, but dude, he went out there, he did his thing. Haney, of course, my personal opinion, if you put him up against an average Joe like us, he's going to whoop our ass.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to give him props. He went out there. He gave us a good show. Dude, they laid him out like, what, 3 times, I think? Am I wrong?
Yeah, technically 3 times, but I mean, he probably could have been knocked down, called for a knockdown at least 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't personally watch the fight. I just caught highlights off TikTok, YouTube, stuff like that. As soon as the fight was over, the way it is, YouTubers automatically want to be one of the first ones to post up and, have like the highlight reels and all that shit. So that's what I got to watch. So I can't sit here and say that I watched the entire fight because I didn't.
Okay, good stuff. Well, yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you guys were able to get, and I'm glad I got Brian's opinion on the whole matter. Brian, the other one that I wanted to ask, this is out of my realm. Nico, I don't know if you're a part of this, but or if you're a big fan of this, but what was your opinion on the whole thing that happened with like Rhea Ripley? Like the WWE thing.
It's a part of the game, bro. Injuries happen. Yeah, it's a part of the game. It sucks. It happens to your favorite character at the most inconvenient time. And that's just another thing of this.
So this isn't a part of like the storyline or something that they're doing. Like this is like an actual injury.
She's the hottest women's wrestler that's been around in a very long time. I would highly doubt that they would use an angle like this. Just for what's the game there? You're selling up. You're selling up. Like she puts asses in seats. She's a part of a faction that no one cares about besides her.
True.
Seriously, like
what's their thing called? I forgot what their thing is called. The punishment or something.
No, I forget. Whatever. But she's the only one worth watching. Let's put it that way. And I don't think this is an angle. I don't think this is a shoot or anything like that. I think that she's legitimately hurt. And but you know what? It could have happened when she first got the belt. She's had the championship for a very long time now at this point. So probably the rest anyway. A lot of people after WrestleMania needed a rest. And I think she's just one of them. So
okay. I mean, there was a lot of emotion, man. I got to see the majority of it, and it was pretty crazy, man. It was really, really crazy. And you were there. You were there in person.
Wrestling's fun again, bro. Like I gotta tip my hat to Nick Khan and Triple H and even The Rock, man. They made it fun again. So hats off to them. And they're in a good spot where they can lose a Rhea Ripley and still be okay.
Be okay.
Yeah, that you couldn't have been able to say that about a year ago. Yeah.
Nico, what do you think, man?
Oh, dude. First off, huge wrestling fan. Fucking love it. Yeah. Okay, so I seriously thought this was going to be something kind of like what happened with Finn Balor.
Judgment Day. That's the name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Judgment Day. That's the faction. But yeah, I seriously thought this was going to be something along those lines where Finn Balor won the Universal against, was it Seth or something? I don't know exactly who he went up against, but he was the first Universal champion. And then, like within a 24-hour span, he got his shoulder.
Oh yeah, no, he was the inaugural Universal champion. He's the first person with the Finn Balor. That is, he's the first person to win the Universal Championship.
Yeah, and then he got injured in the fight.
Seth Rollins injured him.
Yeah,
and he had to drop.
He got him right into the fucking barrier, and he fucked up his shoulder.
He's never been right since. He's never been on top ever since that. Yep. They've been shitting on him ever since. See, that's what I'm saying. That could have happened to Rhea Ripley, but she had some time in, so I can't feel that bad for her.
Okay, well that makes sense. Shit, man. Well, that's crazy. So what was the injury, anyways, for Rhea Ripley?
Shoulder or some shit. I don't know. Some soldier shit that she had. And it was probably something that had been like nagging her for a while, and then it just reared its head, and she had to drop the belt.
Crazy.
This could still be a work. But I don't think so. I don't.
But it kind of feels a little too off to do it.
It just you don't take one of your biggest stars off the main roster for no reason.
Let's take into consideration this is a work. Okay, who do you think could have possibly taken this from her? Or do you think they're kind of like doing it like a build?
You know how I know it's not a work? It's because you don't put the strap on Becky Lynch if this is a work. You put the strap on Liv Morgan, who was trying to get into a little bit of an altercation with Rhea at the time.
Yeah.
You put it on her, let her hold it until Rhea comes back, and then Rhea wins it back off of her.
I think that would be a little too predictable. I think you have to give it to somebody else, let Liv win it later on in the future, and then when Rhea finally makes her come back, she happens to have the belt on her.
That I get.
Yeah,
I get that part. I just think that if this was a work, you could have, however you dice it, however you want to write the story, however the booking wants to go. I think putting it on Becky, which is what I'm just ultimately saying, you putting it on Becky screams, oh shit, I got to make a left turn here. Who am I going to put the strap on? And they're going to put it on one of their bona fide champions, one of the people that, can always be a champion, can always be in a championship match. They threw it on her last minute. That seems like that's what happened there.
Yeah. Good point. For a couple of years, man, it got kind of, wrestling was very stale, very, very stagnant. In the sense that it was the exact same fucking champions all the time. It was either Becky Lynch, Flair, so Charlotte Flair. It was always the same girls all the time. Belair also, so I don't know, man. Like you said, Triple H is making this a little bit better. He's trying. You throw it at the interviews, and he's always talking about like, oh, the new era, the new this and new that. And he's always trying to throw his name in there because he kind of wants people to know it as the Triple H era, because I don't know, but it is true though. He is making it fun and it like entertaining again. Like I love watching it. For a couple of years, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lost interest in it, and
everybody goes through it.
Lately I just jumped back into the train. Like it was, I don't know, it's awesome. I like it.
A lot of people usually around this time of year, when it comes to like WrestleMania and right after WrestleMania, a lot of people come back. But being that, you know, it was one of the better WrestleManias in a while, a lot of people, you know, are back into it. So I get it.
Good shit, good shit, good shit. All right, boys. Well, now we're going to start getting into the fun factor stuff. The number one topic that we're going to probably be talking about, Brian hit me up and was like, yo, I want to know, South Texas Comic Con popped off this weekend. How did it go this weekend? Me, myself, I didn't have the opportunity to go. We just got back from doing a large trip in Florida, and I have been, I came back to work and I hit work, you know, super hard. So I have a lot of opportunities popping off at work now. So I'm trying to do a lot of like
slacking, bro. You're slacking, man. Fuck out of
What
here.
do you
What are
mean?
you talking about? You're fucking slacking. Nobody wants to hear this long ass soliloquy, bro. Like you're slacking, dog.
Nah,
you
man,
should have been there, man. Repping, dog.
No, it's one of those things. Like, you know what? Like I did miss it.
Yeah.
But like financially, it wasn't going to be able to benefit us. Like just overall, what it is, you know, I used a lot of my finances to fund some of the trip in Florida. And, you know, at the time, you know, I thought that, you know, was going to benefit me and it benefited me in a lot better ways too. Like, you know, I had this opportunity to hang out with some really great people. And, you know, I went out there, you know, represented with a team that was a great team with a great fighter, with a great possible future. You know what I mean? It's in, you know, I don't know if you guys were able to watch that. They just did the Mike Perry fight yesterday, which was Knucklefest 4, Knucklefest 5, which is like a really big event in LA. Yeah. We got invited to go, but I had to shut it down because I had work. But, you know, they asked us if we wanted to attend and go in. Like they wouldn't even have charged us. You know, that would have been fucking cool. But it ended up, you know, the cat out of the bag kind of situation that now Conor McGregor is part owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
I saw that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
right?
huge, man. That's super huge. So like,
speaking of huge, pause. Is that guy on the juice? What the fuck is up with him, bro?
Which one?
Conor McGregor.
Oh, I don't know. He's always on something, man. If he's not on the juice, he's on the fucking nose powder, bro.
Like I get the nose powder. I mean, you know,
yeah, we all know that shit. It's in his liquids.
That's a fun time. But I mean, ever since he started doing that Roadhouse shit, bro, that motherfucker looks jacked.
Yeah, he's big.
Guacamole.
Bro, by any chance, did you guys get to see him going around doing interviews during Roadhouse? Jake Gyllenhaal looks so uncomfortable. Like if he was like, you leave one of those people in like one of those cages, like the you can pet the tiger kind of moments. Like he just looked like he was always on edge. And Conor McGregor looked like he was like, all right, everybody take off your shirts. We're going to fucking do coke off each other's nipples or whatever. Like, and Jake Gyllenhaal's just like, oh, dude, why am I here with this guy? Like, he just looks so fucking uncomfortable most of the time.
I saw when they jumped on a complex on the YouTube channel for the sneakers.
Yeah.
And it's true though. He kind of kept his distance and he let McGregor talk most of the time. Like we gotta admit, the dude's fucking unpredictable. You never know what the fuck.
I was gonna say, like, you're sitting here blaming the guy for being uncomfortable around one of the most uncomfortable motherfuckers to be around, bro. Are you kidding me?
It's like this dude, Conor McGregor, is like Mike Tyson at 20, dude. Like it's just nuts, dude. It's just nuts. He's there, fucking Jake Gyllenhaal. You're watching the video, and he's just literally with his hands in his pocket, like just kind of like, those are some shoes. Yeah, those are shoes indeed. And he comes in, he goes, oh, look at these fucking Versace shoes or whatever. And the guy's like, how much do they cost? And they're like, I think he says like 18,000. And you see Jake Gyllenhaal's face, and he's like, the fuck? What do you mean 18,000? Like he it's like he's never shopped in one of those, like in like the sneaker shops, the sneakerhead shops before in his entire life. It was like a whole new awakening. He was even like, Connor said something that he had bought something Balenciaga and that it was his turn or something. And he was like, is this for both shoes or just one? Like he was making fucking, it was the funniest fucking interview I'd ever seen in a long time. He just looks so out of his environment. Looks like he shops at Target, dude, on the weekend kind of guy. Like he just was not prepared. Fucking great fucking video. But yeah, it was that whole entire opportunity that was given to us to do the bare knuckle fighting championship was super cool. Like, you know, I'm super honored by Eric to hit us up and let me be a part of his team and his corner and all that stuff. So, you know, onwards to better futures for that. We just saw last night that his opponent, Mike Richmond, who won the fight, is kind of like on the path to fight this other guy named Lorenzo Hunt. And Lorenzo Hunt got pretty dominated last night. I got the hiccups real back. I just ate. He got caught with a bad uppercut, and when he fell, when he was going down, he put his arm back to catch himself, and he fucking dislocated his shoulder on the fall. Ooh. Like his arm was too far back, and it caught him. So Lorenzo Hunt kind of dislocated his shoulder, and he's out of the game for a good minute. So, yeah, it looks like that whole 185 division is going to be shuffling around a lot with Lorenzo Hunt being out for a little bit. Lorenzo Hunt's he's a killer too, man. All those guys are fucking ballers, bro. Super crazy. Mike Perry took out Thiago Alves in like fucking 15, 20 seconds, dude. It was like 40 seconds. And I mean, I don't know if you guys remember back in the day that Thiago Alves is no fucking slouch. The guy's a fucking animal too. So crazy, man. Just crazy fights how bare knuckle is. But yeah, we had we got another guest coming in. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. David from Adam Collectibles, man. Adam, what is up?
Hi.
What is up, David? What is up?
Hi, everybody. Oh, to Brian? I just had Brian.
What's up?
He inspired me to be on my phone and get on no matter what.
Yeah, I sent him the link and I was like,
I have that effect on people. I don't know what to say.
Oh my god, you're blowing up his head, bro.
Everybody wants to just argue with me and shit.
He's my David Goggins, bro, for reals, bro.
You don't know me, son.
You don't know me.
Oh man. David, how's it going, brother?
Well, I'm in the parking lot of Twin Peaks, bro. Ran into a lot of the cosplay community. They're watching high. Took the team out to, the thank you for the Comic-Con hustle, right? Because, it's a motherfucker in 3 days.
Yeah. Hey, so overall, how was your experience with South? We just started talking about South Texas Comic-Con as an event. We were going to ask, of course, Nico's going to tell us it was his first opportunity to go to a convention. And, of course, David, you've been to several. My biggest thing was numbers. I would like to hear numbers, and you probably haven't heard of any of them. But in your opinion, attendance wise and being the vendor and all that stuff, how do you feel South Texas Comic-Con was this year? I mean, it's hard to say compared to last year because of the storm, but previous, in a culmination of all the other Comic-Cons you've attended.
Definitely. I mean, we always know that South Texas Comic-Con is a staple when it comes to, what McAllen and the Valley has. It's like the pinnacle, then it goes to Anime Fiesta, Ultra Gaming, and so forth. Definitely Friday. Obviously, I was at a different company last year. So my numbers are a little bit smaller, but I'm not running as much inventory. I can tell you confidently, the rule of thumb that I've learned is whatever you make on Friday, you triple it on Saturday. And what you make Saturday, you make half that on Sunday. And that's kind of more or less where I was with my inventory. And I'll put it in perspective. Before Comic-Con, I had 3 spots, maybe over $50,000 worth of inventory. And, we would rack in, between the teams, 15, 18,000 for the 3 days. Obviously, I'm running 1 spot. So if you have $10,000 worth of inventory and you make 5,000, that's pretty good considering your space and stuff. Those are not my actual numbers. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to put my business out there, right? But it was profitable. I had a good turn of inventory. Bought some collections, too, so some awesome comics coming out. But attendance-wise, I feel like it was really good. I felt like Friday was a little bit busier. Saturday, people love to spend money. Today was just a great day, bro, because I had less customers, but they were buying more. So I was just happy. I mean, I'd rather have, less customers being happy, building the bag, building the basket. Looking at the credit card report, I can tell you that yesterday they averagely spent $20. Today, I think I ended with the average of $38. So,
nice.
An extra $18 per transaction adds up. It really does.
David, I have to ask you a question really quick. When you're doing a big event like that, are you able to actually enjoy it? Are you able to have fun while you're doing this? Because you're just spitting numbers and analytics and all this shit. And I'm just are you able to actually enjoy this?
So I've learned that if I push myself really hard Friday and Saturday, I can enjoy the Sunday because I typically take my son with me, even if it's to walk around or whatever. But one of the biggest things, I guess, for me that makes it fun, because it's what you put into it. It goes with the guests. Like, I'm not a big SpongeBob fan. Like, it's cool. There wasn't a guest out there that I'm like, man, I would love to meet him. The only one was the Robin Hood, Carrie Lewis. Just because Men in Tights, bro, is one of my favorite movies. But if I didn't meet him, he doesn't have a Robin Hood pop. So, like, I don't really care for Princess Bride, you know? Like,
whoa. Easy. Princess Bride is top tier. It's God tier, man. What are you talking about, yo?
But if I had a choice between Men in Tights and Princess Diary, bro,
I don't know.
I grew up with them. Sorry.
I like both of them. Okay, my fault. Go ahead. I'm doing that Brian thing again.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, my fault. Sorry.
But no, I mean, I think it's pretty good. I think a lot of the vendors, I mean, obviously I put some material out there, some videos and stuff, talking to them off camera. Some had good days, some had bad days, some were, getting the momentum for their day. Not really anybody complained too much. Obviously, they're going to have the correction of errors. I think, considering it's 10 years and where they've started to where they're at now, obviously there's things to improve on. But, I didn't hear any vendors complain too much. Obviously, like, for me, I'm not going to lie, and this might sound bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way, but I was like, hey, I'm a sponsor, bro. Look at my logo. Like, I was like, it's right there because, at the end of the day, a lot of people talk about, I want this guest, I want that, I'm going to support Ramsey, I'm going to support this and that. But when nobody puts the money to back it up, you're just all talk, bro. It doesn't matter. So for me, to put down the amount of money that I put down for the spot, could I have done more? I wish I could have. I mean, I had a fucking fire for crying out loud,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel comfortable supporting the cause, supporting the community. Right now at Twin Peaks, I've heard the cosplayers and, maybe they had fun, maybe they didn't, but hey, we want to make the event better. I want to do what I can, and hopefully it grows more, right?
True that. I was gonna, you just said something right now that I was gonna ask, but yeah, it's super good that you did very well. What I wanted to ask you, yeah, there we go. What are your pros and what are your cons of the event for your experience this year?
So the good part was to me is that I was more towards the front before. I was towards the corner. I was in the sponsored spot. I mean, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. Could you always blame it on placement? I don't. But the biggest pro I had, man, and it's going to sound real shitty, but I promise I don't want it to sound as bad as it does. But, like, I had some of the people that are on the podcast say, hey, man, can I go hang out? Can we go do this? And I'm welcome for it, man. Like, I've always been humble, especially since, like, the people that were with the previous business, like, they stuck with me and they're like, hey, can I go chill at my booth? Or one of my brother's friends was like, hey, like, I was said, if I'm going to buy a pop, I buy a pop here only, And then I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'll give you a discount. They're like, nah, I'm going to pay more. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, I'm not going to stop you. Like, who am I to do that? Right.
David, just to clarify, just to back it up really quick, you were talking about placement. Just to clarify, placement. Are you talking about like placement in the booths?
Yeah, like in the vendor placement. So, like, if you were
what goes into that?
That's like beyond me, bro. That's whoever organizes the chart and stuff. I just know that there's like a little alley that says sponsors, and I was right under it. Yeah, so shit.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's something a quick tug job can't fix, bro. You just
little handy in the corner, dude.
Get you right there, front and center, bro.
I'll do what I gotta do.
You look like a man that will do what he has to do. I'm just giving you options.
$20.
I'm giving you options, man. Giving you options.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was gonna ask.
See, look, tug job just jogged his memory.
Tug jobs. No. Speaking of tug jobs, you were going around and you were going to do interviews with people. Yeah. How did that go for you? Like, I saw that. I thought that was very cool. That was innovative. It was something new. You even had your fucking microphone in hand, looking like a news reporter on the news.
Yeah,
like,
bro,
that was, not no lavalier or some little tiny mic. Like, you had it, bro. Like, you had the whole thing. Tell us about that experience and what it was that you were trying to accomplish with that kind of a approach for this year's Comic-Con.
Honestly, like, I think obviously, like, I've always been a big supporter of like my podcast. I've been wanting to do more. I just want to put content out there. I want to make it entertaining. And I'll give you an example, like Miguel from RGB Collectibles. I was like, hey man, you want to be on? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I talked to him today. I'm like, hey bro, you want to be on? And he's like, well, no. What do I say? I said, look, man, it's just a conversation with a microphone.
What do I say?
Put yourself out there, man. Like, I'll tell you, like, all I'm going to ask is how was Comic-Con for you and what do you want to see in the future? You know, and the thing is like, you know, if you want to talk and promote your business, that's cool. If you don't, I want to. I mean, yeah, did I go to some of the same people I did, you know, but honestly, like it was open for anybody. I have some more stuff lined up that I want to do, but you know, I think it's going to be good to support the vendors because again, we want to grow as a community. And you know, honestly, like would I love to interview every cosplayer? Absolutely. I don't have enough data for that, you know, honestly.
Yeah. Or
And
patience.
then and I mean, patience, and also like I'm editing on my phone, bro. Like I'm fucking new. Like I can't do everything, you know. So I'm gonna edit what I can, but definitely I want to use it as a correction of errors. You know, nobody told me anything bad, or hopefully Ramsey doesn't tell me like someone wants to sue my ass. But you know, I just felt like obviously they have their people there, the news channel and stuff. I asked some questions on the email, and I tried to stay within the parameters of what they allow. And I'm not gonna be that guy to go interview every guest and cut in line for Tom Kenny. Like I ain't about that life, bro. Like I rather just promote the people rather than the talent, because the people will be here all the time. The talent's just gonna come for the weekend.
Yep. True that. So overall experience, South Texas Comic Con for you, David.
You know, honestly, I think it's gonna be. I wouldn't say it was a 10 because obviously, you know, I would want to make a lot more money. Definitely gonna put it up there with one of the best ones. Definitely better than last year because of StormCon. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I told Randy like you gotta give me the first interview afterwards, a week, a day, a month, however when he comes down to earth. I was like, I want to hear the goods and the bads of the background, but you know, definitely something that I'm looking forward to. I would say like, yes, are there some improvements? You know, were there some hiccups along the way with threats and stuff? I think they handled it really well.
Yeah.
I personally felt like security was too much, so that's a good thing, right? I mean, I guess so. But I mean, I wasn't missing a lot of people there. I know Chris, you didn't make it out. Casilla didn't make it out. You know, some of the cosplayers did, some of them didn't. Regardless of the fact, though, the people that did, I think they had a good time. And I mean, could it be better? Of course, but I mean, it's going to be based on the user, man. You tell me I could have 1 million customers. I'd rather have that, you know? So.
True that. And now for the complete other 180 turn, Nico, your first opportunity to ever attend a convention. That sounds super wild just to hear someone say that out loud, that you've never had the opportunity to do this before. Like, let us know, dude. Like, let me know what it was like. Cause for you to go to like this one as your first, like that's pretty wild. That's a big convention starting off. You're not even going to like local little ones to kind of like warm up to it. You just went for the big daddy call. You know what I mean? So let's know what's up.
All right. Well, first off, no, don't get me wrong. I'm usually a vendor at these shows. Okay. So I've never gone personally to South Texas Comic Con.
Okay.
As a vendor or as a customer, I've never been to one. This is my very, very first one. You know, other events like what is it, San Antonio Riverwalk, stuff like that. I've been to those. You know, but South Texas Comic Con, and that's because it's right behind. You know, it's technically our back door, like our back. You know, in our backyard, and I've never attended one. It's not that I never wanted to. It's just that it's either I was working, I was in Houston, you know, I was somewhere else at the time, or even when I was here, it was maybe the guest that I was like, it doesn't really do it for me. Like it wasn't a guest that I really wanted or I needed an autograph from or anything like that. Now, I was grateful enough because of David to actually go to attend. Oh, nice. David actually had another vendor pass, and he was nice enough to call me the day before yesterday, and he asked if I wanted to go and check it out since I had never been to one. So he helped me with that. I went in, and at the same time, I was grateful for him doing that. But at the same time, I didn't want to be a fucking selfish bastard and have the entire day with the fucking pass. Because believe me, if it was up to me, I would have. But at the same time, like, I don't know what his plans are. I don't know if he's inviting or he's expecting family members to show up or whatever. So I just went. I was grateful for being there for like the 2 hours that I was there, walking around, attending. Dude, I fucking enjoyed it. I loved it. There was pros and cons about everything, you know, customer wise. There were a lot of customers. I saw like money flow coming in, you know, but at the same time, some of the cosplayers do stick around and they block some of the booths, you know. Okay. So, you know, and some of the vendors, they don't want to be rude and be disrespectful to them. So they don't really say anything. They just kind of stay quiet. But some of the cosplayers, they just hang around in a small group and they start blocking some of the booths. And it doesn't really, you're not able to get in there and actually see the stuff, see the merchandise from the vendors, you know. So that's probably one of the cons. there was a variety of shit, bro. Like so much fucking crap. Everything from comic books, action figures, video games, posters, fucking anything you could possibly name, it was out there. But overall, it was a great show. I enjoyed it. I got to see some of the special guests. I got to see some of the lines that were in there for them. Dude, who the fuck was it? Danny Trejo had a nice fucking. He had a decent.
I would have
line.
loved to have seen him.
Yeah, Danny Trejo was fucking crazy. There was a nice line for him. Who
bet.
else was there?
Vincent D'Onofrio was there.
I honest to God, I don't even know because I just walked through there because you know how people start forming the lines. It's like the lines already formed, then you got to kind of cut through the people, kind of cut through the line.
Yeah, kind of make it around.
Exactly. So I was just like, you know what? I'll just go around the entire fucking thing, so I didn't have to go through all that crap. Because certain actors or voice actors come out and they have their own time frame. Like, oh, this guy's going to start at 3. Well,
yeah,
you don't want to be there. Yeah, exactly. Because there's going to be a heavy flow of traffic going that way. So you don't want to be in that general area. You kind of just go around them. So, but yeah, man, overall, it was a great experience. I don't know if you know who Jesse, are you familiar with Kaboom Comics? The Stars? Yes. Okay, do you remember Jesse?
Like as a worker that's there?
I want to say it's Jesse Sanchez or something like that.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, he actually is trying to create this comic book here. It's,
Jess, you're talking about Jess.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I know Jess. Yeah, they had a booth there. That's Jess and Ramsey.
Yes, exactly.
They've been making it's called like the Outer World or something like that. Like it's got like
the Ordinary World or something.
The Ordinary World. Yeah, they've been in it for a minute, dude, trying to build it. And it's. I saw the pictures of the booth and the art that they're using. Actually, as a matter of fact, Ramsey and I are really, really close, and he lent me like one of his first copies of the comic book that he created like years ago. Well, this was a couple months ago, and the only other person that had this at the time was JDF. So it's just me and him who have this book. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I need to give it back to Ramsey actually, because I'm just supposed to be like, he just wanted me to like just read it for a little bit. But I'm one of those guys that like when I critique something, I want to spend time with it, and I want to make a video of me like critiquing per part, like what I think. But looking at the art that they chose, even when I see artists on Facebook, I automatically get them in connection with Ramsey, so that way they can have an opportunity, because I know he has a comic book he wants to grow, and I want it to be like, I want him to hit the ground running, because I believe in his vision 100%. I've had his back since we were kids.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, that's Jess, Ramsey, the one that you mentioned, My Ordinary World or something like that. Yep. I have the exact same picture, but behind it of his, and it's something small, but I asked them if they could just do me a favor and sign either, like both of them. So Jess signed this. Yeah, I just signed this one, and Ramsey signed the other one, and I posted it on my Facebook. So and it's really cool, and it's very nice to see that Ramsey's head hasn't gotten any bigger, bro. Like he's very down to earth.
Always.
He's honest to God, he would fit in here as an average boy.
Most definitely. We've had him several times on the show. I know that it's just that, every time that Comic-Con comes around nowadays, I know he's more busier than before. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't really like shoot it out there to kind of like, give me your time when I know it's really valuable at this, like during the time crunch. So I'll probably wait for, like the way David is, after the convention, when the smoke settles, he'll usually take like some type of vacation. And then when he comes back, I'll hit him on and tell him to come on the show and come and shoot the shit and catch up with all the different movies and films and comics and all that stuff. So we'll be able to dissect his brain when that is. And I know, Brian, it'll be your first time with him, right?
I think.
Or did you get to talk to him once?
I wouldn't say, I think I caught the last one. But I think it was just the one. Nico, I have a question though. Being that this was like you mentioned this was your first con, right? This is your first big con that you've ever been to, right?
Yeah.
So has this sparked an interest into going to more cons? Or like, are you interested in seeing other venues, other sponsors, providers, things of that nature? Has this sparked any interest in you in that?
Yeah, well, actually, now that you brought it up, when I got Ramsey to sign his, I actually brought to his attention. I'm like, hey, how do I go about it on possibly being a vendor for the next one? Obviously, yeah, it's a year away, but I'm pretty sure there's already a waiting list of people that want to jump in already, or constant people that just go every fucking year. They're the same vendors, they're on the list pretty much every fucking year.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I got to wait my turn and be patient until somebody possibly drops out for me to jump in there.
Nico, I told you, man.
Just a little handy.
Bro, hey, you could leave that to David, bro.
Yeah, little circle jerk.
You get a nice little circle jerk going on. You be all right, man. You good?
God damn. I'll be like Ram. I know a guy named Brian. He'll be more than glad to take one for the team.
Listen, bro, it's gonna take a lot more than a fucking booth to get that done for me. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I'm no good for this. My hands are too dry.
It's gonna take a lot more than a booth, bro.
I got excuses for Dave not to do this shit.
To be honest with you.
Brian got carpal tunnel all of a sudden.
So we got a comment in the comment section. The G Gamer says, any autographs you guys got from Comic-Con? Well, I didn't get to go. What about you, Nico?
Okay, like I said, I got Jess and I got Ramsey.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have gotten Danny Trejo. I already have it on I want to say 6x8 or something. I don't know. It's a pretty decent one. I already have it, but I got that one years back from golly, what the hell was it called? Well, anyways, but yeah, I already have Danny Trejo. It's the only one I really wanted, but by the time he was going to show up, I was already leaving because, like I said, I didn't want to hold David's pass for too long. It was the guy from Tombstone.
Yeah, that's the dude that was in Terminator.
Yes, yeah,
the
exactly.
actor, the main actor, the original one.
Yeah, so I would have loved to have gotten his autograph. That would have been great. But like I said, by the time his time was to come out, I wasn't going to be there, man. I appreciate David giving me his vendor pass, and I didn't want to be a fucking jerk and be holding it for too long. Because I didn't know who else he was going to invite or. So I gave him the pass. I lasted a good 2 hours walking around. I enjoyed the show, and then I gave him the pass back, and I came back home.
So let me ask you guys on a personal note: if you had the opportunity to get one person's autograph that you really wanted to show off, like what would it be? Whose would it be?
Just in general,
just in general. Yeah, just in general. Not someone that was here at the convention or anything. Just something that you would know that you would want to put up in your house, in your man cave.
Okay, to me, that's pretty easy. I'll jump in real quick. I'll say Arnold. Of course, you got Sylvester Stallone. You've got Hugh Jackman. You got Clint Eastwood. I don't know, man. I think those are my main ones, actor-wise.
Brian, what about you?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm kind of weird when it comes to celebrities. I don't get starstruck. I don't want autographs or pictures. I work at a hotel where I run into celebrities a lot, and it's not just in my nature. It's just nothing for me. But I guess honestly, I always said that there's two people that I would probably geek out if I saw in person. One of them just passed, in Akira Toriyama. I would have geeked out if I ever met him. And the other one is Ken Griffey Jr., the baseball player.
Ken Griffey Jr. Wow, dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shit, that's awesome.
I grew up watching the kid, and I became a baseball fan because of him. I became a Mariners fan because of him, and I just thought he was the best athlete I had ever seen in my life. Injuries kind of like cut his career short, but I mean, listen, man, he was it for me. So I think like if I were to run into him just like in the wild, I think
you'd freak out a bit. We got a hiccup. Yeah, you got a hiccup there. What did you say? What would happen if you ran into him?
I said that if I ever did run into him in the wild, I'd probably turn into like I give him a handy for sure, and that would be on the arm too. I wouldn't even want anything in return. Like that would be just from my childhood. That's
just gratitude.
Yeah. I would definitely turn into that 9-10-year-old again, bro, and fan.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, Ken Griffey Jr., honestly, he's the one that got me into the home run derbies, bro. I fucking love watching home run derbies because of him.
Yeah, man.
He was the man. To me, he was like, I would watch him before, of course, the whole Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa thing happened. Yeah. Ken Griffey Jr. was the shit, bro. I fucking loved it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I think my two celebrities would have to be, they're so fucking 180 from each other, but the first one's going to be David Hayter, which is the voice of Snake from Metal Gear Solid. and he was the Guyver, which was probably one of the coolest fucking like rated R versions of the Power Rangers I had ever seen growing up. It was so violent, it was so good, and I was impressed this one time by it was kind of like a setup in a guy's video game store, and it was a Mike Tyson's autograph, but he had it with the glove with Mike Tyson's Punch Out, like as the background in the frame and all that stuff. And I was like, man, that is so fucking cool. Like Mike Tyson's autograph on a glove, and then you have like the whole like the game Mike Tyson's Punch Out from the NES, and then a badass frame, and then all the boxers from the game like framed on the bottom.
Danny had that, right?
Yeah. The guy that owned Goliath toys, I had seen it at his spot like not too long ago, and I was like, that's what I want. I think the guys, David, the guy who David used to be partnered up with, they were going to an event, and Tyson was going to be there, and I was like, yo, give me that autograph, because I totally want to do that as like to have in my house. Like that would be so cool.
All right, real quick question. Now that you guys are in here, going back to the wrestling thing.
Oh.
Number one wrestler that you would love to get an autograph of, and your most underrated wrestler.
Oh wow!
I know it's completely nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
I actually like that question. So wait, your first one was my favorite that I would like to get an autograph from.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's alive, obviously, because there's tons that are dead that I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to meet or have a beer or something like that with, but alive. Again, I don't know if there's one I want an autograph from. I don't get starstruck. Like I don't see the value in that. I guess if I had a gun to my head, and I would have to pick, it'd probably be Seth Rollins. I don't know. Just say Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins? Yeah. Okay. Me, I'm not really big on the wrestling scene as much, but
I missed the opportunity to get Sting.
You know,
I missed that opportunity.
For me, it would probably be like Shawn Michaels or like Rey Mysterio, like one of like the old school cats that I was real comfortable. I'm not even gonna lie, like I'm gonna sound like a huge piece of shit, but I gave up on it a long time ago, like because of the situation. I used to be a real big Chris Benoit fan before he fucking killed his entire family or whatever. I had seen him in Corpus Christi at a wrestling event when I was younger, and he was there with Arn Anderson and all the dudes from the Four Horsemen. But this was after they had already like dispersed the Four Horsemen. So like, we would scream out Four Horsemen and all this shit, and they would like flip us off or whatever. Like, but I was a really big fan of his until he turned into a murdering piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, after that, it was, a lot of heartbreak and a lot of like not someone to look up to in that nature anymore. I kind of gave up on wrestling during that time too. But yeah, I think Rey Mysterio is a pillar in the community as a wrestler. Him as a person and as a person who keeps the Mexican tradition of the lucha libre alive on the main screen. That would have been cool, I guess. Yeah, that was about it. I'm not really.
I want to redo because I thought we were talking about like active wrestlers, but like now, like I guess the only person.
Rey Mysterio's active.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But you said Shawn Michaels. If you're doing like retired, then I would definitely say Stone Cold. Like he's the number one person. He's Cold, literally for me. Yeah, he's literally for me the only person I would ever want an autograph from.
By chance, are you guys watching his Instagram where he just likes make cats videos?
Yeah, no, he's this guy is just.
He's living the life, dude. He's literally just making cat videos now where he's just like at his ranch and there's like two cats, and for a minute everyone was like, yo, tell us about your cat, and he's like, fuck them cats or whatever, and then all of a sudden he just fell in love with one of them, and now he has a second one, and he just makes fucking cat videos and everybody loves it. And now it's like there's people talking about making a petition to get like a National Geographic's like fucking animal show with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the fucking guy, which I would watch the fuck out of that. It'd be funny as shit if you just like took the filter off him and let him go. He'd be like, look at them fucking hyenas over there fucking kicking ass and eating fucking lions or whatever. Like it would be just great to watch. It'd be fun as fuck. Well, that's fucking really cool. So overall, Nico, your experience with South Texas Comic Con this year, like How would you rate it, man?
I'm gonna give it maybe. I would give it an 8.
Oh.
1 out of 10. I would give it a solid 8.
Damn.
Like I said, there's pros and cons in any show, no matter what you do. And it's like I said, I give all the props to Ramsey. He does the best job he possibly can. But whether you like to admit it or not, there's always going to be little hiccups, and you can't please everybody at the same time, man. You know. So, but I would give it a solid 8. It was good. It was a good show overall. It was fun. It was entertaining. I had a great time, like I mentioned. Dude, it was a dangerous place for me to be at because I had just gotten paid on Friday. So yeah, man, I just got paid, and believe me, there was so much shit that I wanted to fucking buy, but I was trying to be, will strong, willpower. Just no, I'm not gonna do it.
What's up, Brian? Next April, you want to come down and go to South Texas Comic Con or what?
Hell yeah, I wanted to go for this year, bro. I literally just went on vacation last month, and if I didn't, this would have been the time for me to come out.
Let's see what's up, man. Let's see if we can plan next year. Let's get you come down in April.
That's
and we'll get something going on. I'll see.
I'll tell you what, though. People were saying they were standing in line for like 4 hours. I'm not standing in no one's line for fucking 4 hours, bro. That's never.
That is true, though.
That is never going to happen.
I noticed this year, but they had it at a couple other conventions too. They usually do panels, and I was going to say maybe I could talk to Ramsey and we can get some of the local podcasting things together to do a big podcasting panel. Because they tried to do it this year and it didn't look like it. They didn't really have anybody by name out there.
They didn't have us. That's why, bro.
Yeah, man. And I was
that shit up, bro. That's what it was, man.
It'd be cool if we get like the Average Boy podcast. We get the Comic Menu. We get Chew and Ooh. We get Adam Collectibles podcast. We get us all out there. I think it'd be really, really fantastic.
I come out there, bro, and we do this, man. I got to get you on like a mushroom bar, man. Have you lit up there, bro?
Yeah, I'll just not be able to walk correctly, dude.
I mean, I'll help you walk. I mean, I'm just saying, well, you got to get you up there.
You're gonna talk to me in like
the
first 1 minute. I'm gonna be like, I'm somewhere on Mars, dude.
And that's where you need to be. That's where you need to be. That's the Chris I'm gonna want to see when I come out there. The guy that's just stuck on Mars and just doesn't come back, bro.
Brian, speaking of mushrooms, worst trip ever, dude. Tell me.
I've never had I never had a bad trip on shrooms. I've done shrooms a handful of times. I've never had a bad trip. I've had a bad alcohol trip. I blacked out, but I've never really overdid it when I've been very responsible in my career when I take extracurricular substances.
Nice. Well, excellent, man. Well, good. Well, I would have figured you would have had at least one bad trip and been like, yeah.
No, bro. Like I was blessed with some really good shit, and I've always been with people that knew what the fuck we had and knew not to take too much and where I just needed to be, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
In like the Cliff Notes version, can you explain to me like the best trip, whatever happened to you?
I think my best trip might have been one of my Molly nights. And listen, this is I know this is a family show, but listen, I have a life.
Adams family.
I had a life.
This is like a fucking Ant-Man family. It's all problems here, bro.
At 42, I don't have the same indulgence that I once did, but I did dabble in my day, and I want to say one of like Molly to me, Molly and ecstasy have been like the two best drugs ever invented. They're man-made, but holy shit. If you guys haven't tried them before, I wouldn't say start now, but you missed out, man. That was some good times.
Dude, sponsored right on the side.
That was some good times,
sponsored by Molly's and shit.
Yeah, I relived them sometimes in my head, but that's as far as I ever get to that shit now.
What's up, Biggie? In the comment section, he puts, Chris, yo, did you get to go to South Texas Comic Con? Not this year. Financially, it didn't benefit me. We did the Florida trip and all this other stuff. So, and not only that, Christella, she had a situation happen at work, so she had to be doing doubles at work this whole week. One of the people at her work, she only had like 3 people on staff, and one of them got really sick, was in the hospital on Thursday or Tuesday or Wednesday even. And she was like, yo, I'm not going to be able to go to work because I'm dying or whatever. And Christella was like, well, there's only fucking 2 of us on the clock, which means like it was only that chick's going to cover morning, Christella's going to cover night, and vice versa over and over again. It's pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So Cristella's
Yo,
been.
bro, why am I the only one that has to share my drug fucking experiences over here? You guys get away scot free. You just change over. You just change over into freaking work and shit like that. I had to sit here and tell y'all I was a fucking drug addict for about 10 years.
I'm sorry, man. I'm straight edge, bro.
Hardest drug I ever did is melatonin, bro.
Nothing.
Man.
You guys never did nothing.
Hardest drug I've ever had was melatonin, man.
You guys are fucking lame as shit.
You know what?
I can't believe this.
I'll
never had a Molly night. Never interest you to like try some ecstasy and just see how that felt.
No, dude. No, I'm
bro,
straight.
The wind feels like it's fucking your skin, bro. Like I don't know how to explain that. You just feel great, yo.
I've never had someone explain to me something about fucking skin.
You ever wonder what it's like having the wind fuck your skin, bro?
Having your fucking skin fucked by the wind? No, dude, not at all. That sounds like a scary movie.
That sounds unfortunate. That's what it sounds like. It sounds unfortunate to me. I'm sorry.
Unfortunate?
Everyone, listen, everyone in this world should have their skin fucked by the wind once in their life, bro.
At least once. I'm going to make that a shirt. At least once. Get your skin fucked. That's going to be the new Neutrogena fucking tagline.
Yeah, bro.
Get your skin fucked, Neutrogena.
You got it right here first.
So, I guess like the only thing I've ever done is like pins. I guess you could say. Like I've only done like you see like I Ashley in the comments.
I am in the wrong company, bro.
Only in high school, only freshman year.
I feel
living the life, Ashley, living the fucking life. But like I have like these like the pins or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's kind
of. It's got THC in it or what? It's got THC in it or what?
It's THC, but like it's real weird. Like so, like I only use that accompanied with my melatonin to help me relax and then go to sleep. Like I don't use it recreationally because I want to watch a Grandma's Boy or
bro, I got some watch, shit.
You know, I want to go on a fucking nature
right
walk
now, brother. You don't need no
nowhere.
melatonin, bro.
I'm gonna go on a nature walk at fucking Dollar General, you know, and get lost in the fucking underwear section, just thinking that I'm in the woods or whatever. I don't need a trip like that. It's just I use it, what is it? Medicinally.
Yo, I just got invited to a retreat at the end of June where it's a bunch of people. It's very cultish, but they're gonna be taking ayahuasca, and it's really got my interest.
No, are you serious? You gonna go?
I'm thinking about
go
it.
Live.
Oh,
yo, I should go live, but if I'm tripping balls, I don't want there to be documentation of that.
Yeah,
like I don't want there to be documentation of that because ayahuasca is no joke, and these guys they're not fucking around, bro. They got a shaman and all that shit, bro. Like so they're gonna have me all types of fucked up if I go there,
like a
bro.
shaman, like one of those like weird hippie dudes? Like
it's exactly what you think. I saw a picture of the guy. The guy looks like he's into some wild shit, and I'm gonna put my life in this guy's hands, bro. He's gonna give me some ayahuasca tea. I'm gonna fucking get one, probably have my skin fucked multiple times, and then I'm gonna have to come back here and tell you guys how that felt.
You're gonna get your skin fucked by multiple frogs because that's all.
I'm in the era of my life where like I want to try like weird shit like ayahuasca, something that's like natural and it just fucks you up and it gets you in tune with life and the world, and that's not weird. I'm about to be in tune with the world, and you're telling me that I'm weird.
People usually just go fucking skydiving, dude. You know what I mean?
I've been skydiving. I've been skydiving before, bro, but now I want to feel one with the earth, bro. When you're in the sky skydiving, it's like a quick 15 seconds of just wind in your fucking face. It's uncomfortable, but it's not really enjoyable.
You. The wind isn't fucking you, though.
I'm about to like grow roots and be inside the earth.
Oh, dude, you know what? That fucking reminds me of the Florida trip. Okay, being that you're my guy, that's kind of like sampled or done things like this and like experimented. Have you ever heard of this
drug addict, bro?
Huh? No, not an addict. You just experiment. You're like Joe Rogan. You're the Joe Rogan here. I'm just the dude with the mushroom hat.
I'm gonna do all that shit.
Did you have you ever heard of Kratom?
Hell no.
Okay. Fucking A. So we go to a fucking head shop in Florida because they're one of Eric's sponsors. Like High Time Rollers or one of those regular fucking CBD stoner shops in Florida. It's legal, right? So marijuana's legal, but they have a tea that's called Kratom, right? And I've never really done this stuff. I see, the vape pens and some of the, the regular shit that I'm comfortable with. I've seen it. They have a couple of the crystal pipes and all that shit, like for people that smoke in their house or whatever. On the side, they have a little small bar, and it's got a bunch of flavors on the wall, and it's this tea. And they get Eric to go up there and do a what is it, like a thank you guys, I'm a sponsor, make sure you do this tea. It helps you like for post workout and all this other stuff. After all this scrum and after all the media shit, I go up to the guy and I'm like, hey dude, that sounds really cool. Like, can we try some of the tea? And he goes, oh, well, have you ever done opium before? And I was
that's a wild question.
That was like the most Florida shit I've ever heard from a fucking head shop, dude. And I was like, opium? What the fuck does that got to do with tea, bro? Like, I just want tea. Like, you just had Eric come out.
You're about to find out.
And he was like, yo, like, make sure you do this after your post workout and all this other stuff. And the guy goes, oh no, dude, if you've never done it before, you'll vomit for like 30 minutes. And I was like, bro, what are you selling to people? What are you going to tell these dudes to go work out and come and get this for fucking post-workout? And then they're vomiting for fucking 30 minutes? What are we sponsored by? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Sky Rob says you better not go missing, Brian. Like, get out. I tell you what, man, I don't mind going into a situation like that, knowing that I could probably just be drugged and just killed with thousands of people. I would just be pissed knowing that there would be a documentary about it afterwards, and I would have to have and somebody who's playing me is going to be playing the black junkie trying to get his life back together and shit like that. And that's forever going to be my legacy in life. Like, that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the mass murderings that could eventually happen.
All I gotta say is you better not take a picture with a dude that has like the 50s haircut with the big beard and the big fucking aviator glasses.
That's the guy that's gonna give me water when I'm tripping, bro. He's gonna be my friend, bro.
Or the guy wearing the fucking beach shorts, dude, with the muscle shirt tucked in, like, you know what I mean, with the fucking.
I'm just envisioning myself being super fucking sweaty and sweating through any piece of clothing that I have, and just wishing I was dead. Like, I think that's what's gonna happen if I have a guess to it.
And they're gonna wake up and be like, "Man, that was refreshing."
I'm gonna do that again tonight.
Glass of kratom, man. Give me another glass of kratom, baby. Boy, dude, do I have some fucking wild stories from Florida. There was this guy named Rich. Man, I need to fill you in with this, dude. But we'll save that for another time. I need to find a way to put it in the show and it not take up a lot of people's time. It's just we ran into a random white guy that thought he was really cool, and then found out that
I heard this. You guys were going to do a fight with him.
Florian? Did I tell you the Kenny Florian? Oh my God, bro!
Yeah,
and there I was beating the fuck out of Kenny Florian. That's got to be the greatest pickup line ever. But yeah, onwards to the next part of the conversation, guys. We are going right into this. Brian, I don't know if you're caught up, but Nico said he finally got to see the entire season. We were talking about Fallout, the series. It popped off on Amazon Prime. Brian, have you been able to see Fallout?
I have not, but I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. I want you guys to sell me on it, on why I should watch it. I am going to watch it, but sell me on it though.
True. Are you a fan of the games?
I've played a little bit of the games. I haven't. I'm not a fan.
Nico's shaking his head like, nah, man, I ain't a fan of that shit. So Nico, I gotta ask you first.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So, you're the man on the seat, dude. Right. You've seen the entire show. Brian, how are you with the concept of spoilers in this situation? Like, are you good or bad, or should we save it?
Bro, you guys can just go balls to the wall, man. Go ahead.
Balls to the wall, Twisted Metal style. Nico, tell us about your experience with the Fallout series on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so first off, the video games I was never a huge fan of. I'm pretty sure you guys maybe heard it when I was with David. I worked at GameStop for a couple of years. When it came out, dude, everybody was fucking just buying this game. It was being sold out. And then all of a sudden, like, I think, what was it, 76? Fallout 76 or something like that came out? Mm-hmm. Dude, there were so many fucking returns for that fucker. It was ridiculous. Like, people had it for like a week at the very most. And we had so many copies. Yeah, and they fucking hated it. And we got so many copies back. But anyways, back to the series. The series, dude, first episode, it kicks off with a banger. Like, it's fucking amazing. I like it. I enjoy it. It's fucking fun. It's not family friendly. If you have young kids, I wouldn't recommend you to watch it with young kids. But young teenagers, around 15, 16, I think they're gonna fucking love it. It's fucking hilarious. Okay. but dude, like it was something refreshing and something new and different from what we're used to seeing out of all these fucking TV series that are going on. You know, because it's a different storyline. It's something that we're not used to. It's not like The Walking Dead where it's like, oh, now it's a knockoff series of, you know, The Walking Dead. Now it's something else. No, it's completely off topic. We've never experienced anything like this. It's post fucking what? How would you say it?
Like post-apocalyptic steampunky.
Yeah, yes, the steampunk.
Yeah, like
you nailed it. Yeah, this I would say steampunk also on that one because it's just it's fun, dude. I fucking enjoy it, and it's like I said, even if you weren't a fan of the video games, the series will fucking it'll drag you in. It is good.
So let me ask you, give me one good thing about the show and one bad thing about the show. Like, give me a reason to watch it, and then let me know that there is one aspect of it they could have done better.
Okay. One thing that I enjoyed, like I said, it's something refreshing, something completely different. It's like I said, there's nothing out there right now that we're so used to seeing. It's something that we're not accustomed to. You know, I fucking enjoy it. But the one thing that I fucking hated was really certain characters. Certain characters really, really kind of fucked it up for me a little bit. But the good thing is those characters don't last very long.
Got it.
They don't last very long. You'll figure out right away. You're like, you know what? I don't like this fucker. Like, and the good thing is they're in and out of the series, and then before you know it, either they get killed off or you never see them again. And their story is probably going to be cross paths later on in the series. But overall, I like it, man. It's 1 out of 10. I would give it a solid 7, maybe an 8. Because I want to see where it's going to go from here. But if it stays the way it is, I think it's going to be a great show. I just don't know how long they're going to fucking drag it for.
Okay, and Chris, overall, what do you think, Chris?
So, I mean, Nico kind of hits it on the head. I think for me, the pros of this show is the majority of the characters are all really charming. Like, there's something that's likable about all the main characters. Yeah. Like, there's like a certain.
Do they have time to flesh out character development, or is it feel rushed?
I mean, it's really weird because there's certain characters. I wouldn't say that they're rushed because there's a lot of I wouldn't say develop. Well, yeah, the main characters are developed fairly well.
Okay,
but there's a lot of like reveals to each character. Everybody has some kind of like story. Everybody that's a major player in the story, in the sense of like, you'll get like one regular character, like the main girl or like the black guy that's in it, or the little guy from Ender's Game, the little Mexican dude that bumps his head. I don't know if you remember that guy. I love Ender's Game, and to see that guy in this story was really good. That guy in one of the seasons or in one of the episodes literally is like at the ending, close to the credits, and goes, well, I guess I'm just going to keep playing the main path, which is almost like referencing that you're in the video game and you're not doing the side quest.
Like a meta joke.
Yeah. And it's really cool. It's a very cool Easter egg in the sense of like video game tropes, but like it feels like the main girl isn't on the main story quest. It feels like she's on a side quest. The brother's on the main quest, which is developing the whole overarching story. Like the overarching story of the entire series or the entire Fallout theme. And the guy in the armor, the black guy that's in the commercials and stuff, I feel like he is like the most charming character because he's lived his entire life on the surface and he's super naive to like the vault living. So like he's probably the most charming character in all of them because he wants to be this like really badass, but he's kind of like conniving. He's constantly making big mistakes because like he didn't like I wouldn't say like he didn't grow up with like a privilege in the outside world. He was very isolated, and he's always just looked for people to help him, which is why he goes to the Brotherhood in the first place, right? Because he wants to kind of feel a part of something because his family had passed away during the bombs or whatever. But
just out of curiosity, do you like the storyline of where it's going with the ghoul?
With the girl or the guy?
The guy.
Yeah, actually, I kind of do. Because it does kind of correlate.
Do do you like the fact that they keep going back to flashbacks, like, well, not flashbacks, but like going back in a sense, like back in time, where they're showing him with his family and stuff before he became what he is now. Like,
oh, you're
like
talking
that.
about the ghoul.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're talking about the ghoul guy. Yeah, dude. I think that's. I think it's kind of weird by say, because I think his character may be supposed to be based on something else in the game, which I think he's supposed to be based on the android detective guy. Like, I don't know if you remember, but there was like this one character that was in, I want to say Fallout 676 or 4 or whatever, that he was a dude that wore a trench coat with a hat.
Yeah.
And he was an android detective guy that was always helping people. I want to say he's a mixture of that and someone else, because he's like this bounty hunter guy, right?
Yeah. They reference him as a bounty hunter. Now, obviously, he was a movie star or a TV star before the whole bomb thing. Mm-hmm. Now, I seriously think we don't know exactly what happened to his family yet. Like, obviously, they're gone, but we don't know exactly what happened. Now, it's kind of weird because he wants to kind of somewhat relive some of his old past as a cowboy. Mm-hmm. So he kind of like adapted that character, you know. So like he's so used to playing Western movies and stuff like that. Like at the very last, he's sitting there and he's watching himself on TV, and he's watching a series or the movie of him. And it's like he wants to somewhat portray that in real life, like, you know, as kind of like a badass cowboy, like, you know. So
yeah, it's like weird. A gunslinger, kind of like
exactly,
not the hero, but the anti-hero spaghetti western kind of thing. But like that's the thing, is like he comes from a period in acting where most actors needed to have a skill. So like those skills of being a cowboy, like they're not just him acting it out. Like this guy's like a man's man. You know what I mean? He's out there doing cool things. That's what makes him where he's able to do a lot of this stuff. But being that he's a ghoul, he's like super radiated and all this stuff. Like he does have some kind of like physical attributes of the undead, right? So he's able to be a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, and all this other stuff. But I think his character is really good too. And like I said, like there's a certain charm to each one of these characters that's really well put together. Even that like old lady in episode 3 that's like in charge of the shops, like even her like comedy was somewhat needed to make that whole thing like more impressive. Everybody's used fairly well in the show, Brian, just to kind of keep you. I don't want to we don't want to spoil anything, but everyone's used fairly well. The main actress is really good. I know that some of the things that when we go into these films and TV shows and stuff, we always assimilate the idea that there's going to be like the woke thing, or like the stuff we're seeing right now happening in Warhammer with DEI and all of this other stuff, that Sweet Baby Inc. and all of this other stuff. There's a lot of things that are going on like that right now. And of course, I think like the movie industry itself is starting to learn that yes, there is that concept where there is a necessity of being more equal to different diversities and cultures and things like that in film, but to force it and to make it like super crazy, I think they're starting to learn financially that it's not really working too well, and they got to have a different approach, which is something like we've talked about before. Organically, the story needs to make sense. The story needs to be written well, and they need to kind of do their research on the characters. But there's not a lot of wokeness in or a lot of like the DIE or DIEI or whatever. There's not a lot of that in this film or in this series. There are some parts that you feel are kind of like nods at the situation. There is one scene or one part of the story where they're talking about like accepting people from outside into like a vault, but they usually do it, but the leader of that vault is told that he just has to accept it, and he has to accept their cultures, but he wants it more purified, like a Zionist kind of guy, right? But of course, like that plays into the overarching story of what Fallout is overall. So like it kind of correlates to like the main thing that the brother is trying to figure out. So it's not like it's just something unclassy. Like it's just thrown in there to be a cunt. Like it's thrown in there with purpose, and it makes a lot of sense. Okay. So like,
I don't want to cut you off, but no. Put it this way, man. They've tried redoing like video games into movies, into series. Hands down, this has to be one of the best ones, in my personal opinion. Okay, because they tried Twisted Metal, it was okay. I think possibly maybe the first episode was probably one of the best ones. After that, it kind of went downhill for me. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Obviously, you got movies like Street Fighter, you got Mortal Kombat, you got stuff like that. But seriously, I think this is possibly hands down more believable character-wise and character development-wise, and story. I think it betrays the game fairly well. You know,
well,
when you go for it.
I'm gonna go against the curve in this because the reason why we're leaving one of them out is because of how good it was, and that was The Last of Us. The Last of Us was a masterpiece, and that's why I think that when we look at it and we see it for what it is, we don't look at it as if it was a video game going to story. We look at it as a story that's been there and it's just really well, directed and taken care of. I think Last of Us is like at least like 30-40% better than Fallout. Like hands down, I think it's really great.
So I gave Fallout maybe a 7, possible strong 8.
Yeah.
Last of Us, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get to see the last fucking episode. I was actually watching it like 3 days ago.
So
I think we talked about it last week, where once the gay couple came in, I kind of lost interest in it. So basically, the next episode, I just skipped past that, and I just continued from there on.
Did you ever play the game? Either one?
The first one or the second one, or both?
Whichever.
Either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I played the first one more than I did the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you played the game, it ends exactly how you think it ends.
Yeah, it is what it is, and I think for what it is, for what it's worth, like I think that approach when making it into a live action is very important. I think the reason why Fallout works very well is because of, like I said, the charm of the series itself and the theme and the genre, the way it looks. It's like an atomic family storyline with some technology that's a little bit more futuristic. It's very, very sci-fi, very like corny sitcom sci-fi with a lot of like seriousness and brutality and a little bit of perversion. The things that make the world go round in entertainment right now. It's all kind of like there. But I still think, in my opinion, that Last of Us is like a perfect rendition of its video game counterpart. I mean, and that's because in some parts they did take some liberties, but those liberties were done in such a fashion that it did add to the series more. So like Fallout, I kind of feel like what they're doing with is they're taking from several different versions of the story in the games, and they're trying to collaborate it into one. The futuristic part with the company and all this stuff, I feel like that's the tomorrow people that are in Fallout 4 that can like teleport and do all this shit. The guys in the black suits and all this stuff. I kind of feel like that's kind of like what they're going to be going into. And, yeah, I feel like Fallout's going in a pretty cool direction. There's one scene, I think it's like in episode 6 or 7, the second to the last episode, where there's a good amount of nudity, and I feel like that's never an important factor to have. But I mean, it is what it is. They put it in just to kind of like add, I guess, like the intensity or something. Like, I don't know, maybe like the idea of like how crazy people can get. And I get it, but it's not like they're not going to show like cock and balls or anything like that. It's more like Skinamax style skin, right? So I don't know, Brian. I don't know that like I don't want to freak you out or make you be like, oh no, I'm not gonna watch this. It's dumb. But
listen, I love tits and ass, bro. Why would I not watch it? I'm concerned. My concern is why you don't like it. I'm just like, what the fuck?
So for me, it's one of those things. Like I've never, like when it comes to like films and studies, like I've never thought it was a necessity, like to have actors and actresses do that. But
Name me one situation in life where tits doesn't make things better.
The Shining.
Okay, all right.
I was like, yeah, The Shining, like
you
yeah.
Didn't like the naked chick in The Shining?
Well, she ends up turning into like this grotesque zombie that's all falling apart and disgusting and stuff.
Not what I asked you. Even the chick in fucking what was it?
Ready Player One?
What was it? The 7 Ghosts, 12 Ghosts. What movie was that?
Oh yeah, 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts. Yeah. It helps. It helps.
I mean, it helps. It helps sell the scene.
It helps. I'm just saying.
For me, it's one of those things like when they add those to film, I never feel like there's a necessity for it. That's just it. Like I never feel like there's
a necessity. It's fine. Want.
Yeah.
I want to see that shit.
You're like, I just want it to happen.
Just listen, if every movie I watch, there were just some random tits in there, bro, I'd be happy. I'd be fine. I don't have an issue with that.
It's like it's all right. Like just get a titty, just some random like just a tit pops out on screen. You're watching Moana, you're watching fucking Ice Age, and just a fucking boop, just a titty pops out. And it's not even like on a person. It's just up in the sky.
Yeah,
like, it's just like boop,
it's a cloud. It's a cloud.
And be like. It's a what's that shit? Intermission. It's an intermission titty. Like that's what they need to have in film. Intermission titties, dude. Like when you're watching Dune.
What was that movie?
2.5 hour movie.
No. Role Models, where he's talking about the hills and stuff. Like
yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Where he's talking to the kid. They look like boobs. Exactly.
Boobs.
Listen,
man.
I don't.
That's Brian right now.
Yeah, listen. I'm not as horny as let's say a Rob or something like that.
Sorry, mommy and all this stuff.
But I mean, like, as long as listen, I'm never gonna turn down a scene with some tits, and that's just me. I'm sorry.
You're like, if they're giving it, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Listen, I have a question, guys. I don't know if this was something that we were gonna talk about, but we're going on a little bit long, and I think it's. Yo, are you guys watching X-Men 97?
Oh, dude. I was just about to segue into that right now.
See, this is what happens when you miss pre-production meetings and all that shit.
Yeah, it's good.
I've been reading the comments. I saw Robert talking about it.
I have been dying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love seeing your two beautiful faces, but this is why I'm here. Because this is something that needs to be talked about.
Let's go. Throw it out there. Can of worms.
A lot of people listen. I've been asking random people that I would think would be watching this show, and they're not giving it a shot. They're all like, "Oh, it's for kids. It's da da da." And I'm like, "Bro, you are so wrong. You couldn't be more wrong about this show." The one thing that and really quick, the one thing that captivates me, because I'm gonna forget this. The one thing that captivates me more than anything about this show is the fucking writing. This is what happens when you get good writing and people that just want to do the right thing for a show. This is what this looks like. Everything else that's out there is obsolete. I've seen some of the best animation in this show of all shows. Better than some of the best animation that I've seen in a very long time.
Except for Rogue's Booty.
Except for Rogue's Booty, they had to kind of, had to fix that.
But are you asking the people? Are you asking the right people though? Because remember, a lot of us grew up with the original X-Men, so we grew up with that, and we can kind of somewhat relate to the storyline of what's going on right now. Now, people who are completely fresh and brand new to X-Men, the animation.
Yeah,
they may not be up to date, or maybe they didn't see the originals, and they don't have the love and the excitement that we got when we first heard about it. So maybe you're just asking the wrong people, because people who are big fans, we fucking love it.
I think you're right. I think I am asking the wrong people, but I thought I was asking the right people. I've been asking people that have the same similar interests that I have and things of that nature. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Before this show started, I really didn't have high expectations. I wasn't looking forward to it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I didn't have any fucking.
So this is a pleasant surprise. There's been a few filler episodes, but even then, the writing and the dialogue had been fucking on point. It didn't matter. But some of the ones that were supposed to smack, they smacked.
Yeah,
like,
they did really good.
Episode 5 is some of the best shit I've seen in a very long time. That I deserve some type of acknowledgement just on its own. And then this last episode 7, it's been really, really good. They've been fleshing out a lot of characters that I think that they've dropped the ball on in the earlier shows. I never, we all know that Cyclops is a badass, but they're really going for it with Cyclops and Rogue, Jean and Madeline, everything. They've been knocking it all out there. Even the addition of Nightcrawler, one of those obscure, heroes and characters that just pops in from time to time. He's having a really great effect on this show.
Yeah. I
think some of the best, he's always dropping knowledge and, making a situation positive and trying to keep the team together. And dude, this is they have been knocking this show out the park, which you know, it has me curious as to why they got rid of the director. If this is what they had, right? If this is the show that they had, I'm looking on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It's at a 94% audience rating and a 98% critics rating right now, 7 episodes in. If you had this type of show on your hands, what the fuck did this guy do to make you fire him?
What was it, like an OnlyFans, or what did he have that was like the situation?
I don't think we have a clear answer as to why they let that guy go.
Yeah, I don't think they gave it I don't think they gave us something that was like a definitive, like, this is exactly what he did. And this is why we're punishing him. Because again, they did it with, look at James Gunn, dude. Like, I mean, he fucking talked about sucking kids off and touching babies and all this other shit, and he got a whole ass fucking DC universe.
But so, I can almost guarantee you he didn't do anything to that level unless we would have heard it. And then not only that, but you know, I love James Gunn like the next person. He's never put up anything that's gotten fucking Rotten Tomato numbers like this. So there's a clear difference. There's a clear difference there. So like,
you got a little bit of a freeze. I'll tell him he popped when he got it.
My fault.
Yeah, you popped right there.
Sorry. But yeah, what do you guys think? No. It's definitely my internet. So what do you guys think?
Okay, so I'll play devil's advocate in this because there were certain parts that I was not impressed by, but there was a majority that I was impressed by. What I was impressed by is the factor that they're going with like an extreme storytelling of the X-Men. Like they're finally touching base on stuff they never did. And the reason why I think that Cyclops is in the front running position is because of the fact that he plays like the most like imperialistic character in the X-Men saga. But that's the problem, is that the X-Men throughout the comic book history have always been the most repressed race of human being on the planet. Like they've always been the ones that have gotten like the shit end of the stick when it comes to this. But that's because of the fear of the things that they can do, right? Like in the sense of like their powers, like you have no control of them, and how do you dictate that? That's like it was almost like an antithesis of the Civil War concept where they needed to make the Superhero Registration Act. But how do you do that against the people that are born with it? It's not just people choosing to be heroes, right? They're born with all these crazy powers. But like Cyclops' character, what happens is when the X-Men start dying in troves because of acts of terrorism against them or whatnot, he ends up going way beyond the concept of Charles Xavier and Magneto in the comic books. In fact, there is a comic book during I forgot when it was. I want to say it was during the Phoenix Saga situation when he kills Charles Xavier because he disagrees with him. And it's one of those things like you see it in the cartoon too, where Cyclops is, looking at Charles Xavier like a father figure. You know what I mean? Like the motion and everything that he puts into his life and his servitude of creating the X-Men and all that stuff. Like Cyclops looks like it's like, everything in his nature. And you're seeing that base of it right now where you're getting the Cyclops that's like, I need to know which ones survive. I need to know who's left. Like all of those concepts. Like, he feels every death and he doesn't want any more death. So sooner or later he's going to turn into like a radical mutant, which is more than Magneto was.
I slowly see that already.
Yeah.
When they're interviewing him.
But that's the thing.
He has a small little lash out.
In the original 97 cartoon and in the video games during that time, that was a period in comic book history where Cyclops was the golden boy. Yeah. He was the Captain America of the X-Men. He was the purest of the good kids. And it wasn't until like, I want to say like 2012, 2015 that they started getting into like the dichotomy of him like being in the situation where he's like mentally in trauma and struggling to kind of like keep that good boy mentality without being a complete jerk. And even right now, you can see that even though it's X-Men 97, there are sprinkles of, the Krakoa, the House of X, the Sword of X, the Sword of X10, or whatever, the House of X, or whatever it is that's a comic book series that's going on right now, where they're trying to get into a place where they can be isolated. They want to be by themselves. There's the cloning. There's the techno virus that's already making its return. I like the way that they've handled the Cable character, where like he's not coming in like and doing whole episodes, but he's only coming in small little snippets where you understand time travel's a thing, but it doesn't work well with him. Like I think that's super, super good. It's not like
I think you're gonna get a lot more. I think you're gonna get a lot more Cable coming up. But let me just pivot really quick because we are probably all three of us are probably gonna revolve around the same things that we like. But you started off saying that there were some things you didn't like. Tell me about the things you didn't like.
Well, they fucked up Wolverine's character.
How so?
Like they literally neutered him in the entire show. He doesn't do anything. He literally just gets cucked by watching the chick that he loves fall in love with the guy that he's always competed against. But of course, like Wolverine's always had this failure where he's like 300 years old, macking on a.
Are you fucking crazy? You got a kiss from fucking the OG Jean Grey. My man is up, bro.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she's going away and she's like, "Oh, my man's in trouble," and then takes off and then makes him fucking tag along, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Cyclops is in trouble. We gotta go help him. And Wolverine's like, "No, you can't kiss me because you're always Jean Grey and he's always Cyclops, and that's the way it always goes because I'm the fucking Wolverine." And then he walks away all pissed out. Wolverine fucks everybody, bro. Like he fucks. I
would have definitely fucked Jean Grey right there in that ocean.
Yo, Jubilee turns 18 and fucking Wolverine shows up practically with his dick out, dude. Right, like that's the way he was in the comics. He was just nutting on everything, dude. He was
that's why you animal, dude. Fucking kids.
All right. Listen,
like that's just the way he was.
I need you to flush out. What is it so like? Because I don't think that's a big deal. But tell me why this is such a big deal. Why?
My thing is there was always turmoil with the Wolverine character. That's what made him so cool is that he was such, like we were talking about earlier, he was that cowboy character. He was the one that wasn't controlled. He was the one that wasn't, just hanging out at the house, drinking soda, trying to play fucking nurse to like someone that was injured. He was like, I can't be here because I'm dealing with my own shit. He gave a fuck only because he was in love with Jean Grey. And other than that, he hated everything else. Like he was always trauma filled. You know what I mean? And in this series, he's all right. Like he's just hanging out with Morph and Morph's just fucking chilling and they're just drinking and watching fucking Lord of the Rings together and Wolverine just goes and makes a casserole or whatever the fuck he's just doing fucking jack shit. He pops his claws out for like 5 seconds and
I mean, besides the first episode, there's only been about 3 or 4 characters that have been getting action anyway.
Okay, so look, watch. Jubilee had an entire throwaway episode that was just trash, which was that arcade episode. The only thing cool about that was that it gave a nod to Marvel vs. Capcom or the Children of the Atom X-Men games or whatever, the games we used to play, because it uses a lot of those sprites. Why couldn't they give us like a badass Wolverine episode? Like, why haven't they tried to do that? Is that because like back in the day, they already gave him enough attention? Like, but isn't Wolverine like one of the biggest selling points in Marvel comic books right now? Even right now with the Deadpool 3 movie coming out, like no one gives a fuck about anything else. And literally everyone's talking about since this guy, Hugh Jackman, is coming back, that it's going to save the Marvel universe. It's going to save the entire fuck off of Phase 4. Like that's like 8 movies it ruined. And people are all, and I'm even for it. Like I'm super excited for Deadpool 3. You know what I mean? Like, and here we have the if not the most definitive reason why Wolverine became one of the most popular characters was because of this cartoon, and they don't use him. He's underused. He's underutilized. You know more about Forge. You know more about Cyclops. You know more about Madeline Pry than you know about Wolverine, and nobody gives a fuck about Madeline Pry.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it's a little nitpicky, but then you're right. He is probably the more famous and notable X-Men.
I mean, you know Sabretooth because of this cartoon.
Let me ask you, was there anything else that disappointed you so far?
The Charles Xavier in with the Shi'ar Empire, like that was kind of lame. Like it was kind of corny.
Do we know why they're all faking like he's dead?
I think it was because no, I don't.
I don't think
I was going to try to think of it, but I couldn't think about it.
I don't think that was explained. Nico, you got to get your take on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to what I was talking to you about, Brian. Like, what I don't like is if somebody is new to the series and they're not used to what we grew up with,
Yeah.
It's kind of goes true to what Chris is saying. Character development wise, if you're new to this X-Men thing and you're just gonna watch it because it's the hot trend to be doing right now, you have no fucking clue who Wolverine really is unless you've seen some of the later X-Men movies and stuff like. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna give a little bit of pushback. I don't want to cut you off, and I'm gonna let you cook. But we know who Wolverine is, bro. Come
on, man.
He's the most famous.
People jump into shit just because it's a hot thing, a hot trend. You know,
I get it. I just think they did a really good job giving me more Storm, more Cyclops. I didn't give a fuck about Cyclops. I didn't give a fuck about Storm. Like, I don't care about these, but they're like Storm is an Omega level fucking mutant. Like, that was on display. Like, I appreciated that. Now, Wolverine is Wolverine, dude. Like, I love him just like everybody else. But does he deserve a standalone? I think we're gonna get some more Wolverine. I just don't think
we're gonna have to.
We're definitely gonna get some more Wolverine. Yeah. But I mean, what I've gotten so far, it was cool. But go ahead, Nico. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. Okay, so even in the reference of the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, they even say it. You were the X-Men. You are the original X-Men. Like you basically, he's the reason people know who the X-Men are. Like, don't get me wrong, you got other teams like Fantastic Four and stuff like that. But when you talk about X-Men, he's probably the number one person that anyone could fucking name. He's probably the name that pops up number one. Okay, so yes, Chris has a point. They haven't given him enough credit.
Yes,
no, I'm just kidding. And but honest to God, I seriously think it's true though. Something's gonna have to shit's gonna have to hit the fan for this fucker to unleash, you know. And it's when it does, I hope
it's gonna slap.
Yeah, I hope so, dude. Now the whole director thing, I really hope it doesn't become washed out. Like I really want it to go in the direction that it's going because so far it's been fucking good. I loved it, you know. And considering the fact that the director is gone now, you're kind of wondering like, well, shit, it's up in the air now. What the fuck's gonna happen? Like, is the team still gonna roll with kind of the same storyline that the guy had, the same vision, the same idea that he originally planned, or are they just gonna scrap it and just bring somebody else new and just do their own thing? You know, which I don't know. I really don't want that to happen because it's going in a good direction.
Like with the nostalgia berries that are in the show, I do feel like this on its own is its like own thing. I don't feel like it's really connected to the 97 show at all. Like if it wasn't for like the original intro, some of the voice actors, like this doesn't correlate very well with the original 97 aspect.
You don't think so?
I disagree.
I don't think so.
I disagree with you on that. I think
I don't think so.
I think it not only does it directly correlate, but I think the entire series, the old 97 and this one, it's all was ran by Bastion this entire time. Like that's the feeling that I get.
They're making it seem like right now.
Okay, so Chris, real quick. So take this into consideration. Every fucking X-Men movie that's ever been created, an actual live film creation.
Yeah.
Scrap that out the door. Okay. And you're saying that without the original cartoon, you don't see this correlating to it.
Are you talking about the connectivity from are you talking about the continuity from that to this? I think continuity wise.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think continuity wise, this story is like its own standalone thing. I kind of feel like the guy that's running it is like he's taking a lot of freedoms to throw a lot of just Easter eggs from the old show in there to make us comfortable, but he's taking it like in a whole new direction, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that it's bad, but this is not written in the same Saturday morning cartoon structure.
You're right. It's written better. You're right. It's written better.
Better.
Don't sit here and tell me that the writing on the old X-Men show is better than this. It's not. It's not.
Why would you? I mean, the reason why this show's even around is because that show is one of the greatest shows ever.
All right, and I'm saying that the writing has not. The writing they're not comparable as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, this is way better.
From what I saw back in the Saturday night cartoons or whatever the hell, that shit. Yeah, that shit was just fucking like one Saturday they're in fucking Germany or they're in Russia fighting Omega Red, and then all of a sudden the next week they're fighting against Sinister. Then the next week they got the Juggernaut. Then
they got Spider-Man the next week. Yeah, like that's the Easter egg shit. That's the one you're talking about. This,
and this one, it seems like everything's kind of somewhat mashing together. Yes, there's different storylines inside the story. with Cable coming in, Storm, but everything to me seems a little bit more together and one full story.
Well, they're trying to consolidate all the stories, which is like the mega mold. They're trying to consolidate the technovirus. They're trying to consolidate Bobby Acosta, his story of Sunspot before he makes X Factor, X Force.
And
like
these people that you're talking about were what the entire old school show was about. It was wrapped around these characters. Is wrapped around the Sentinels, the Sentinel Project. That's what it and that's what it's all wrapped around. And they're just continuing. They're just continuing it.
Yeah, they're expanding it. They're expanding it in the sense of like they're creating continuity by making Sinister a little bit. It's very much like I'm telling you. It's more correlating to the comics of like the House of X, the House of Sinister story that just passed. They haven't even touched based on like Apocalypse and how he goes into like another world with a bunch of other characters, and he's like a whole new king of a whole bunch of brand new warriors. The whole concept of them like reforging Mars like into another place, them isolating Krakoa, the desert, the afterworld, the White Room. There's a bunch of stuff that I feel they're going to start forcing in because they know that those assets are in the comic books and they're going to try to throw it into this all at once. That's my biggest thing. I do like where they're kind of like Oliver Trask, and they're trying to make it to where like the Sentinel program made him the Sentinel Prime, which they never established in the first series, but they did in the comic books a lot more. But how it correlates to the technovirus, how Nathan was sent back instead of Hope. Like there's a lot of things that they're like intertwining to like Days of Future Past concepts that they're intertwining. This is like
that is great freaking writing. I'm telling you, like I can't.
Well, I mean, I need to let him finish because that's going to be rude if I don't let him finish.
Every time I get like a good point, bro.
Yeah, you were just about to drop a good point. You said that's why, and then you were going to say like that's why it's going as good as it is. Writing.
That's why it's going as good as it's going because of great writing.
But let me put this out there just to, like I said, just to throw fucking shit into the wind. I don't want the wind to fuck us, but the concept of we see the template that they use in the MCU. Now we're this far into it. They're struggling on having continuity with the storylines because they've taken so much of that free effort to do whatever the fuck they want that now they're in a position that they have to make it all make sense in the end. Like you're doing all this stuff with the X-Men and a lot of these things are stretched out throughout the comic books longer. And recently with the House of X and all that stuff, I think they've diluted the fuck out of the X-Men. And the reason why was because of Moira Taggart, her power, which is like every time she dies, a new timeline starts. And we're on the timeline of 10, which is supposed to be like the Nimrod program not coming into effect and them wiping out the X-Men and all that stuff and mutant kind. Like that's what it's kind of always been, is the survival of the mutants. And there's always like this time travel thing. But my biggest concern was in the new comic books, they do this thing where like the X-Men figure out a way to immortality, right? Which is they have these 5 characters, I forgot their names, but they're able to download the consciousness of all the people, and then they can clone the X-Men and bring them back and re-put their consciousness in. And where they died, they remember just from that moment. But like in that, from them cloning a bunch of like Wolverines, because every time he dies, they just bring him back. Like now you have like a bunch of people who have cloned adamantium bodies of Wolverine that they're being used as like murdering robots throughout the entire like Marvel landscape. Now they've diluted the character of Wolverine with that, and not only that, like the psychological concept of, or the philosophical concept of, if you go through a teleporting machine and your body is destroyed, and then at the end of the teleporting machine you come back, is that you, or is that a whole new person with a whole new conscious that has no real memories because your body's new? Do you get that concept? That makes sense?
I get it. I'm just...
So the thing is I think that sooner or later we're going to get a comic book where the mutant kind that have been going through this are going to start going crazy because they don't believe themselves to be the real ones anymore.
Got it.
Like they lose themselves in their consciousness because those decisions and things that they've made throughout the year have changed because they're not the same people. They've died like 80 times. So when they make a decision, it's not based on any of those actual events. They're based on just what they know. which isn't
All right.
actual trauma or actual, you know. So they get more crazier. You know what I mean? They get more soulless, I guess you could say.
Okay, if hands down, I'm telling you right now, if that's the direction they're going, this is gonna fucking suck.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like I just
the storyline, like if that's what's going on through the comics, I'm not gonna lie to you. The comics nowadays, I don't fucking read because
they're a little weird.
Some of the shit is fucking ridiculous. Like,
but Storm's
it's
a
a little too extreme where I'm kind of like, I lose interest in it, you know. And it gets to the point where it's just, it's too much. I'm like, you know what? They're just fucking overdoing this shit. They're basically they're coming out with the shittiest fucking ideas sometimes that I lose interest in it right away. Like, just
that's kind of like where I figure, because that's what Marvel does, right? So they've been doing in the comic books. Well, not in the comic books, just in the movies in general.
Yeah,
like Storm. Like Storm is still a badass. Like you read the comic book, Storm is still amazing, but that's because Storm Aurora is like Wolverine. She has so many parts in the story of her character that are embedded in so many different stories that they fleshed her out extremely well on a personal level. Same thing with Wolverine. Wolverine's part of the Avengers, the X-Men, the X-Force, the Fantastic Four, you name it, he's been in everything. He's so fleshed out that everyone knows him. You know, Cyclops, not so much. He's just an X-Men. You know, Jean Grey, just an X-Men. A Phoenix, who gives a fuck? Like, they couldn't even get her right in fucking Dark Phoenix movie. You know what I mean? But Storm, they've gotten it right. Like, Storm 100%. That's why when they did the Storm episode, the anomaly or whatever the fuck, like her going through like this whole like the cactus ayahuasca thing in the desert with Forge, like, all right. But like, all of a sudden fucking Forge is like, I love you. And it's like, dude, you just met her yesterday at a bar, dude. Like chill, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's married to fucking T'Challa. Chill the fuck out, dude. Like, you know, Wakanda's gonna come after you or whatever. Like, her character has always been amazing. Like, I've never had a problem with Storm.
I've never had a problem with Storm, but the thing is, the way I personally, I'm not gonna lie, out of all of the episodes I've seen of X-Men 97, I'm sorry to say, but Storm's episode sucked ass. Okay, I seriously think they did her dirty. They should have done way better for her, because like you said, her character is fucking amazing. And I seriously think they don't give her enough credit in that storyline. They should have done something way better for her. Like, her character she's one of the OG X-Men. She's like, you know, hands down, she represents an entire culture in a sense, because she's basically one of the fucking few X-Men that are actually colored. Nico, so like, in a sense, Nico, like I personally think they gave
Nico,
her
I gotta ask you a question. You say that you're a big wrestling fan, correct?
Fuck yeah, go for it.
Right. So we've all seen some of the best and some of the worst arcs in wrestling history.
All right.
The better ones are the ones where somebody may have been on top or may have been extremely strong. They lost their power. Something happened. They're down bad now.
Yeah.
And now you have to have that build up to have them come back. That is what they're doing. I don't think, I would have to disagree with you. I think that there's a reason why they're going this route with Storm. And it's because that when she does finally join back up with the X-Men, which I think is going to be relatively soon, she's going to wreak havoc she's going to fuck shit up on a lot of shit.
But the storyline,
the storyline I think is perfect, because again, I'm a fan of writing. I'm a fan of wrestling and stuff like that, and the build up. If she was just around this entire time, she could have just been tanking all these people and taking all these obstacles, and it wouldn't have been any fun. But being that
I like the fact that she lost her powers. I love that. Okay, it's like you said, it's a build-up. But episode 6, I'm sorry, I didn't like it at all. Like, I think they could have done something completely different, something completely completely different from what they originally did on this episode.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from, and yes, I believe she's gonna become a fucking badass, and she's gonna destroy the shit out of everybody, you know, when she regains her powers and shit. But that episode 6, I didn't like it. Like, the whole Forge thing, and I don't know, it just, out of all the entire series, that's the one episode that I don't like.
Shit, I actually liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to the aspect of like how you all are saying that she's gonna come back and be a badass when You know, the Omega Sentinels already kind of gave her tip of the hat when they were like, oh, fuck, an Omega level mutant is here, like right at the first episode or whatever. Like, what do you do beyond that? We already know Storm is a badass.
Well, that's the reason.
The only purpose.
That's the reason why you take her on this journey. That's exactly the reason why you take her on this journey.
The reason why they needed to do that is because they needed to depower the X-Men, to take them all the way down in the storytelling and take away their heaviest hitter. You tank Magneto because Magneto only controls metal, and you take away the heaviest hitter, which is Storm. You know what I mean? But you could have, like, I don't know, like that story itself, like we saw it in the X-Men first movie with Magneto or whatever, when he gets shot with those little fucking darts and they take his power, and then he's playing chess or whatever. But like, they're supposed to be like this. Again, Marvel sucks when it comes to this stuff. There's supposed to be this like dire situation where you feel like, wow, this is going to suck because, you know, it happens to this person and it's almost forever. You know what I mean? And then in 3 episodes later, she just gets her shit back because she just didn't believe in herself. Like, come on, man. Like, she got her shit taken away because she got hit with something that the smartest dude on the planet, Beast or whatever, was like, this is pretty much permanent. Like,
but see, like that's on a surface level. Like, if you're thinking about it on a surface level, I understand where you're coming from. But the entire show, she has been having doubts about being who she is, or being an X-Men, even before she got hit with the fucking dart, or before she got depowered. Like, she was having issues before that, and then because she got hit, her powers were gone, but she could have gotten them back a long time ago.
Isn't that what happened to her already in the old cartoon?
She just had this self-doubt was there because of who she was at this time and place in her life. And she had to overcome that, which was given in that episode that I actually liked. And now she's back. Like, yeah, I get it. It on a surface level, it's kind of crappy, but I do like the writing that came along with that explained and flushed all that out to me from episode 1. That's the genius of it, is that they had already been building up to that. So if you're only taking episode 6 or episode from the time that she, you know, got depowered or whatever until she got it back, I understand that. But since episode 1, they have been telling you there's been something a little bit off about Storm and where her mind frame is at, where her head is at. They were telling you that from the beginning, and it just got magnified when she lost her power. She's like, who the fuck am I? What am I? If I don't have my powers and I'm at this Omega level mutant, who am I?
But wasn't that the thing with the first season?
I don't know. I'm just talking about this season. This season and what they're writing now, that was the story. And they're doing a hell of a job writing it. They're doing a hell of a job executing that. I just don't want that to go overlooked, because I think that, you know, on a surface level, you can see that. You can see some of that, but I think it's deeper than that, personally.
In the original X-Men series in 1997, wasn't there an episode where Storm loses her powers because she doesn't believe in herself because of, like, I don't know, being stuck in a closet or being like claustrophobic, and then she loses her powers and goes and becomes like the new leader of the Morlocks because she retreats into the sewers? Maybe. Like, wasn't that a whole episode in that already?
Maybe.
But that's the thing. Like, it's an overdone process where it's the same thing. That was like the Luke Skywalker thing, where it's like, we hated it in the newer series because when you find Luke Skywalker, not only is he a hermit and not doing anything to help the Jedi or do something to benefit the Jedi Council or whatever anymore, but he's like throwing his lightsaber away as a piece of shit. Like, Mark Hamill's like, bro, I wouldn't have done that. What the fuck are we doing? Like, it ends up being where you're just doing the same thing over and over again because you need to create trauma in this character that you don't know how else to write them. You know what I mean? Like, I think
they wrote this great.
Yeah, this season's not bad. Like, I love Storm.
I think, yeah, in any other instance, you may be right with the writing if it was off and they were just running out of shit to do. But if they did it before, they did it better this time, and I won't forget it. Like, if I forgot it from the first time they did it, then it's because it sucked. The writing is better on this one.
I've stood on that pillar by saying that the voice actress for Storm is probably one of the greatest voice actors in my opinion, and she should out there be doing like fucking night readings and audio books and all this stuff, because she delivers lines like no one's fucking business. Like, she's a really amazing voice actress. There's parts where she talks and you almost feel like that emotion, like you want to tear up when she's talking, because there's just so way that she delivers. Like, when she tells Jean Grey that she's okay because she's like a mother or something, but the way that she delivers that line is amazing. Or when she's talking to Forge about how she's like inadequate to acquire her powers because she's insufficient on her own beliefs or whatever. Like the way that she delivers her lines, like you feel the emotional connection to this character. Like I am so happy they brought back the original voice actress. She sounds amazing, even in the old series. So like I'm not disagreeing that the episode or the way they're handling the character isn't good. The thing that I'm saying is that Storm is always fucking good. In the comic books right now, literally she was hit up by Thor, and Thor looks at her as the actual goddess Tempest, like the actual god of storms, where he's the god of thunder. She's the god of actual weather and storming, like lightning and shit. Like he looks at her as another Thor, like just straight up respect. And she could still carry the hammer because of that factor. So like there's a whole new thing where Thor's going out fighting like this old god, and he called on her and Beta Ray Bill and all these Thors to create a new Thor core. It was so cool to see her do that. And in that part, Storm, I can't even talk because it's so crazy. Storm tells Thor like, "Hey, well, you know what? Like I came to help you. You owe me one." Mm-hmm. And then she called in the favor during one of the X-Men things, and Thor fucking popped right in during like a big ass assault on the X-Men. And you're like, oh fuck, like Thor's here. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like an Avenger, like one of the greatest Avengers just popped in because Storm needed to call something in.
All right, let me ask you. Give me ratings. How do you feel about the show so far?
I feel like it's like an 8, like a mid 8. It's maybe like low 8, I would say. For me, I think I'm a little bit kind of like taken on some of the stuff, but not too bad.
Nico?
High 8.
High 8.
Oh, high 8. Good shit. What about you?
I like where they're at right now. I like where their head's at. I think there's so many. I've been just deep diving into all the theories and shit like that they're talking about out there. There's so many avenues they can go. I like being in a situation. That's what old school Marvel shit used to be. It's just the experience and loving where they're taking the direction of certain shit. I'm gonna give this like a 9. I'm gonna give this like a 9, maybe even a 9.5 so far, dude. Like this is really good. This is really good TV.
So are you cool on the way that they're taking the Rogue character, making her a little bit more like where she let that guy die, Oliver Trask, even though he came back to life and beat the fuck out of her, like I think they're letting him go and doing all that.
I think they're doing the same thing with the majority, because we even get that a little bit from Beast. We got a little bit of Spicy Beast in the last episode too. So they're doing this. They're doing this with a lot of characters. And one of the avenues, spoilers in case this does happen, but like with the pop up of Captain America, dude, I don't see it far fetched that in the next season we get like a X-Men Avengers clash at some point, dude. So there's a lot of things that can, especially with their interaction with Rogue and Cap's interaction, like that was kind of spicy, a little tension there. So yeah. Again, there's just so many avenues that they can go. This has to be a high 9 for me, dude.
One question for both of you guys: what would it be if you saw that you think it would be a bad move for this story to go in the direction? I'll tell you right now, mine is if they end up bringing Gambit back, then I know that they're going into the sense of like the Krakoa storyline. But if you guys saw
that thing,
yeah, I would say like if they're gonna do that, it's too much. We're too much
time travel. Everyone's coming back. Whoever was dead is coming back. We're dealing with time travel now.
Yeah, just the fact that Cable was in there.
Yeah,
if they didn't want to do that, they shouldn't have shown Cable.
Yeah, we're getting Gambit back. Like we're dealing with time travel. One of the biggest characters in the X-Men universe at this point is dead. We're gonna have to bring him back. He can't just be dead in the X-Men 97. That's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, if they bring him back, it's possible they're gonna do it as the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse kind of thing when they had him a part of that, which is like the evil version of him.
I saw the theories of that. I saw the theories of that as well. So,
but if they end up bringing him back and it's like cool nature or whatever, it's the Quiet Council and all that stuff. That was like the whole thing with Moira Taggart and all those people meeting in that room in Genosha. That was very, very much the fucking Quiet Council from the Krakoa House of X series or Sword of 10 or whatever. So go for it.
Okay, so the fact that Cable shows up and he makes his quick appearance and he's like, I'm too late again, and he just goes back. Yeah. We all can somewhat agree they're going to bring Gambit. Does the storyline mean that they're going to bring Magneto back as well?
Yeah, of course. Magneto can't go away. Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
like
Magneto's not dead though. He's not dead.
Yeah.
We saw in the last episode that he's still alive.
I didn't get to see the last episode.
Oh, I just spoiled it. Fuck. I thought you saw the last episode.
No, I told I told you, Chris. Right? I told you it was, last one I think was 6.
Whoops.
Yeah. He's on like episode 6. It's okay.
Spoiler alert. He's back.
Because I don't even remember that. I was already kind of checked out, but
yeah, nah, he's not dead. I don't know how. They don't explain how he's still alive, but he's still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some
fuckery going on.
Some things that are gonna happen with Magneto.
Some fuckery.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things like
sorry about that, Nico. I feel like an asshole now. I did not know you didn't see the last episode.
No, you're good. Either way, I still gotta catch up with it.
Yeah.
It's okay, Nico, because if you haven't read the comic books, there's Thanos's grandfather comes out of nowhere and blows fucking Magneto's heart out of his chest. He literally has a hole in his chest, and apparently he uses the power of magnetism to keep his heartbeat going. And he uses like those, I'm telling you, just complete bullshit. Like, and uses his powers to go and fight that dude again, even though that guy beat the fuck out of him in like 20 seconds. Like. So like, yeah, that's the problem with the X-Men is none of them are ever dead. It's just you end up getting them back and there's just something missing. It's like Supernatural, the TV show, when Sam comes back with no soul. I don't know if you remember that episode. It's just like that. That's the X-Men. That's the entire X-Men cast. Just all of them come back just soulless, dude. So.
Okay, well, so like, who would you want to see in X-Men 97? Onslaught.
Oh, we're getting him.
Yeah, I would like to see Onslaught. I'm not really like I never get really hyped for the Sentinel stuff because like right now there's like 3 Sentinels that protect the island of Krakoa, and it's like, you know, it's just the same bullshit over and over again. But Onslaught, that motherfucker tanks everyone dies in that storyline, and the only reason why they all come back to life is because Franklin Richards saves all of them and puts them in like a globe, saves all their souls and puts them in like a little thing that he carries around for a bunch of comic books. And then later on, he's just like, and just like literally brings everyone. I'm not talking everyone in the X-Men. I'm talking every motherfucking Marvel superhero on the planet gets tanked by Onslaught. And fucking Franklin Richards brings him back by just like, because he's Franklin Richards, he's a god. So like, it's just, if right now it feels a little convoluted, fucking tighten your bootstraps, baby. Because when that shit starts popping off, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on, man?
I do think with Bastion being half Nimrod and what is it, the Sentinel Maker? What is that? Master Mold. I do think that since he has control over Magneto, we will be getting an Onslaught appearance. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So yeah, if you got Onslaught, who do I'm still waiting for Apocalypse. I want to see where he fits in all of this.
Yeah, you can't kill that guy.
Yeah,
so there's no way he's dead from the older series.
And I'm still waiting on Mystique too. Like I know Mystique's around somewhere, so I want to see Mystique. I want to know who she's playing. She's probably been here this entire time. I have no theories that are out there and shit like that. So like I'm waiting on her.
Who they had? Sebastian Stan. Yeah, they had Sebastian Stan in the Quiet Council, right? In the meeting room, the guy with the ponytail that looks like a piece of shit, right? Yeah. Looks like a piece of shit. They had Sebastian Stan there and Sebastian Shaw, and if he's there, he's part of the Brotherhood, and Mystique was part of the Brotherhood for a while, wasn't she?
Yeah. So I do think that she was in that room. I just don't think she was obviously Mystique. I think we'll find that out very soon.
And they have Emma Frost, dude, and she barely figured out her diamond form, and which I think is kind of weird. Like that's kind of late in the game. Like, but like Emma Frost is a piece of shit too. Like she's huge piece of shit when it comes to the X-Men universe. So yeah. I kind of want to see how they're going to unfold her character because when they do show that she survives that whole attack from the Master Mold or the giant Godzilla Sentinel or whatever they called it. Like they did show that she survived, so that means like there is some fuckery that's about to happen with her too.
Oh yeah, spoiler, Nico.
No, but you've gone to that part, right?
Yeah,
that's an episode.
Yeah,
7,
yeah, that's already like mid.
No. They show Emma Frost right before the attack.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but she survived. She survived. That's what I'm saying. That's in episode 7. That's you're spoiling it for her.
Is it? Is it episode 7 already?
It has to be in episode 7 because you don't see her at the end of it.
It's episode 7.
5.
Yeah,
because in episode 5, that's where Gambit, Magneto are gone, but you do see Emma Frost in there in the banquet before the actual attack.
So another spoiler: she survives.
Okay, that's fine.
And she survived because of her diamond form that she never was able to do beforehand.
We already know she has that. There's no way she gets killed off of it because of it. But like that's the thing too is they introduced the Gala already, and the Gala is a fairly new thing that's going on with the X-Men series, like in recent comic book times.
Okay, so right now with X-Men 97 being so fucking popular and everything, and like I said, it's going on TikTok. People are watching other people reactions to these things, like the death of Gambit, death of Magneto, all that crap. So it's becoming a big trend, and more people are actually seeing the animation because of the trend, and they know that it's a popular thing to be talking about. Do you possibly think, or can you see this possibly going into the future of now that more people are going to be seeing the animation, that they might actually bring back the X-Men movies and kind of reamp it because more people are getting dragged into the animation? So in a sense, like, I'm not saying it has to be the exact same storyline or continue from the story that we're currently watching, but do you think they're bringing in other characters, like you said, Emma Frost and all these other characters, that other people that aren't into comic books, that don't know who they are, they're being introduced to these new characters so that there's a possibility of bringing them into a live action later on, and people won't be so fucking lost of who the fuck is this person? Like,
I think 100%. I think that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah, 100%.
To be honest, I think the sole purpose of this show is to get people reacclimated to the X-Men before they start making movies.
I just want to see Omega Red.
Oh yeah, everybody's been wanting to see him. Yeah, everybody's been wanting to see him since like fucking X-Men 2 or 3. Even the Deadpool movies, they thought that Russian guy was supposed to be him in the fucking prison.
Yeah.
He was another one of those characters that, you know, I don't know a big arc that he was in or whatever, but like whenever I would pass like a comic book shop or something like that and I saw a cover with him on it, it always stood out to me.
Like, because you were like, this is a fucking badass.
Omega Red with Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yeah,
or like the infamous Wolverine with the Hulk. You know,
with the Hulk. Like, those are like cinched into the back of my brain as a kid.
That was all brought on because of this cartoon and this comic book era. Like those characters, it's super. Even the Sabretooth that you know with the yellow costume and the big fur and like the lineup, even that Gambit weird like thing that he wears is because of this comic book series. Yeah. Like even that cartoon and comic book, it's so amazing because it wasn't until Astonishing X-Men that it all changed. That it changed the whole look of the X-Men to be more of like almost like the way the films are, like especially First Class. But yeah, X-Men 97 is turning out to be something that's really, really nice. It's good. Like you said, breath of fresh air. I think a lot of people jumped into it at first because of the way Marvel's been handling their business. But yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. Kind of excited to see what they're going to do with the future. Like I said, I do have my reserves, which is like I said, if they kind of go into the Krakoa storyline, I think it's a little too convoluted even in the comic books. But I do know that they're streamlining it for like what Nico said, because they're going to introduce a lot of these characters into like the Deadpool movie is about to pop off, and a lot of these characters are going to be in the Deadpool movie. And I think they want to have a lot of like turnbacks to it, to this series specifically in Deadpool 3. So that's what I really think what's going to happen. So
when they first introduced X-Men 97 and they showed off the trailers and stuff, just like you all said, I didn't have high expectations for this. Because I don't know about you guys, but when it came to DC, we've had this conversation. In my personal opinion, DC nails their animation.
Oh,
but they fuck up their live action. Marvel, I'm sorry, is complete opposite. Their animation wasn't the greatest. Don't get me wrong. The old original cartoons from the 90s were fucking amazing. But from the early 2000s going forward, I don't know if you ever saw the Iron Man animation movie. Then you had there's several fucking movies that came out. They fucking sucked. They were fucking horrible. They weren't that great. Their animation.
Yeah, there was Marvel Confidential, which was the Punisher and Black Widow's episode.
I saw the Wolverine and Hulk one.
Now that one was
good.
I like
that one was good. It was a double disc.
Yeah, it was called Hulk Versus.
Yeah,
Hulk Versus, which is Hulk versus Wolverine and Hulk versus Thor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Deadpool that came out and that was fantastic. And so was the Omega Red, and so was the Lady Deathstrike. She was in it. They did very, very well with that entire comic.
But other than that,
Planet Hulk was really good.
Okay, those are probably the only two that I actually fucking loved.
Yeah.
Other than that, the other ones that had been busting out, I believe it was Young
Like
Avengers,
Doctor Strange,
and some other ones. Yeah, the Doctor
Iron
Strange
Man
one.
in the Mandarin. Yeah, there's a lot of them that are kind of like a lot of misses. A lot of misses.
So that's why when they brought it up, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have high expectations for the show, and I was like, oh, it's either gonna be a reamp or a remake of the original, just to kind of get the newer generation back in.
Even What If season 2 was a pretty kind of like low entry, kind of like movement for the series from what it came from part 1.
It still was good for me. I liked the first and the second What If, but I already know I'm in the minority.
Well, I mean, What If season 2 was all right. Like there was a couple episodes, but there was a little bit like they kind of like went kind of like deep waters in the end there with Captain Peggy Carter and whatever they were doing with all the crazy shit at the end of time or whatever. But yeah, X-Men 97, really, really high expectations for it. Really, really great end. If you guys haven't seen it, it's out on Disney Plus. Really well worth it. Especially if you're a fan of the X-Men series in general, they really give a lot of high hopes for what it is that they're going to be doing with the series. But yeah, guys, one real quick sign-off question, almost like a shotgun. Do you think Deadpool 3 saves the Marvel Universe?
Yes.
No.
Oh, fuck, that's awesome. Can I get like some PowerPoints real quick on both of your guys? I like how he's like, go, Brian.
I think it's gonna.
Sniffles.
Let me just clarify. I think it's going to make $1 billion easily.
Oh, true. Yeah, 100%.
I think myself, I'm probably going to see it more than once in the movie theater. 100%. I know that. But when you say save the Marvel Universe, I think over the course of the last 5 years, a lot of damage has been done, dude. It's going to take more than this to save it. But it's a good starting point.
Yeah. Nico, what about you, man?
All right. It all depends on the story. Really, it depends on what's going to happen in the movie, because then they can feed off of that storyline.
But that's the thing, Nico. I don't want to cut you off. Like from what we're hearing, it's from the end of this movie, it's supposed to jump right into Secret Wars. So nothing else has to correlate to this story, which sucks.
But in the sense of who's going to actually get released and if there's going to be spoilers, Easter eggs, different characters that we haven't been introduced yet, there's a possibility that it could be saved. And I'm just thinking, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, yes, the last couple of years, fucking horrible. It's just trash. They've been producing nothing but fucking just, they know we're suckers for it, and they're just going to keep fucking milking us for whatever we got. But in reality, they haven't put too much effort into their fucking movies. They just fucking produce a movie and people will fucking watch it. But we haven't had a big banger since Endgame and Infinity War and all that other stuff. Civil War, those were fucking amazing movies, but ever since then we haven't had a good movie to look forward to except till now, and depending on who gets released, what characters might possibly get released, what characters you might see in the background of the movie, that's really what I'm kind of like relaying on. I'm really hoping something comes out of this fucking movie where they can feed off of and continue to push.
We've seen this, right? So this isn't new that Marvel or Disney has been in a slump, because I felt the same way that you're talking. It's the same way that I was talking about Spider-Man and No Way Home. I thought that movie was going to save the Marvel universe. It made $1 billion. It made a shit ton of money, but it didn't save the Marvel universe. It didn't save Marvel.
And that's because it wasn't in the position that it is right now. Like how deep it is in the hole when it comes to the drama that they've.
And this is shows and movies deeper than where they were before.
Yeah.
So I think I'm excited for this movie just like everybody else, but I think we should pump our brakes when we're talking about the damage that has already been done, because we've seen them make $1 billion with the movie and technically it's technically, that's not even a Disney movie, but it's still part of the Marvel universe, and that still didn't do shit for Sony, and it damn sure didn't do anything for Disney in their Marvel division.
So at this particular point, what in your opinion has to happen to fucking save this shit?
I live my life where you have to show me. I'm at an age in my life where I've always heard people talk. I've heard enough talking in my life. I'm starting to want to see results. I want to see you just do it. I don't care what you have to say or where you're planning on going, but you're gonna have to show me that you guys are taking this seriously. That's about as easily as I can put it. You're gonna have to show me one movie after one movie after one show after one show that you guys are taking it serious and that it's some shit that people want to see. Now I know you're not gonna please everybody. You're not gonna, but some of this shit just across the board stinks. Like there's no debate about it.
But you're saying that the ending of this basically leads us to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So in that sense, what has to happen in order to save it though? Like we're already
I don't think that answer can be done with one movie. I don't think that. That's what I mean. I don't think that one movie is
that kind of correlates to what he's asking. It doesn't relate to one movie, but yet that's kind of goes back to what I'm saying. If there's other characters,
no, he's asking point blank, is this movie gonna save Marvel? That was his question, and that's why I said no. And that's why I said no. That was his question, and my answer was no because yes, again, it's gonna make all of the fucking money. I hope it makes $2 billion. To be honest with you, I hope they make $2 billion fucking dollars. But will this save? Will this save fucking Marvel? Absolutely not. They're gonna have to do a lot more than give me some fanfare movie that it's made for us. This movie is made.
That's kind of what it feels like. More is it's just like they told Ryan Reynolds, like, "Hey, look, we know that you do good. Just give the people what they want, but don't go too crazy."
And it took him himself to spearhead that. I don't have the same faith in everybody else that's going to be directing a movie or writing a movie script or anything like that. So you're going to have to show me in order for me to say, okay, well, Marvel is safe now. Marvel's in good hands now. It doesn't, this is going to be a one-off because we've seen it. We've seen it with No Way Home. We've seen it.
For me, it's one of those things that I think it has potential to right a bunch of wrongs better, right? Which is what Ryan Reynolds did at the ending of X-Men or Deadpool 2 when he got the fucking time traveling bracelet, and he went back and fixed all the stupid shit he's ever done in superhero movies. Killed fucking Ryan Reynolds reading Green Lantern. Fucking took out fucking the Wade Wilson character in the Wolverine Origins movie. Like he went back and made it funny. If you were to go back and make it to where like he goes off and fucking kills the Scarlet Witch before he spaghettifies, fucking Reed Richards. If you go and do that as like a montage of him going around fucking the Marvel universe, and then at the very end, whatever he's done has ruined it completely, and there's no way to fix the Marvel universe now, and now it's going to turn into Secret Wars, and that he's the factor, like that would be funny. Because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, because in the comic books, Deadpool is literally doing exactly what he's doing in the movie when it happens, but he's in an incursion. He's on a yacht. He's there with his daughter and all his friends. They're partying, and they look up, and the incursion is like landing right on him. And Deadpool of the 616 dies in that universe. You know what I mean? Like it's just how it goes. But like, I don't know. Like, there's something about it that really like makes it feel like. If you were going to tell me that this is the concept of from X-Men or from Wolverine Origins to Logan being on the life raft into Battle World, like I think that's funny. I think if you were to make it to where like at the end of this movie, you have a Cyclops that is the dude from the other X-Men franchise or whatever, but he's imbued with the Phoenix Force. You have the fucking Jean Grey. You have, all of these little weird rogue characters like, Storm, that's a fucking Thor. You have all of these crazy characters that are all a part of the Secret Wars storyline. You can fit them in there. Like, you can just kind of shoehorn them in because of the cartoon and all this shit that people want to see. Like right now, knowing that Ryan Reynolds got Hugh Jackman to come back as Wolverine, the sky's the limit, bro. You can do You can do Tom Cruise as Iron Man. You could do you can bring back that dude that was the original fucking roadie, and it can make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can fuck everything that Marvel's ever done and throw in they're bringing Gambit. That's Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum wasn't even Gambit officially. They had an official Gambit. That was that one fucking dude in the Wolverine Origins movie. Fuck, they had, what's that dude from the fucking Black Eyed Peas? You had that fucking dude. You can bring him back for no other reason, just to have him there. Like, you can, like, just knowing that Channing Tatum's coming back is the equivalent to having Michael Jackson in Men in Black. Like, that's literally what it is. It's, you get a get out of free jail card for any motherfucker you want to have. Literally, for no fucking reason, just for the fans. They could have it to where at that part when they jump through the sling ring and they can land right in front of the fucking Hulk in Age of Ultron, right when he goes fucking gray Hulk, and we can get our Hugh Jackman Wolverine versus Hulk.
But that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like, this movie is going to be fucking awesome.
It's going to be wild as fuck.
But do you think the next movie, and then the next movie, and then the next movie after that is going to have the same feel?
Well, it's one of those things, like, these guys can do whatever the fuck they want right now, and whatever these guys do after, they can piss and it's gold. Like, you know what I mean? If they nail this, it's Deadpool can piss and it's gold.
Oh, well, this movie, yeah.
But like, if the moment you take this movie and then whatever movie next, you put Deadpool in it, it sells either way. Because they're not going to use Spider-Man as the Marvel leader anymore. It's going to be Deadpool. Now that you have Deadpool and he's making this impact, he's going to be the Spider-Man of the universe. They don't want to work with Sony. They don't want to bring the whole thing. I don't know if you remember this a while back, but they were really pushing to make Spider-Man after Iron Man died or whatever, that they were going to make him the leader of like the Avengers and all this other shit. You remember that, right?
I do.
And then all of a sudden, like, Sony's now like, well, we're not thinking of selling anymore. We're going to make Craven, and we're going to make Madame Web, and we're going to make a bunch of stupid shit because we have rights. We have the rights to this character. And Marvel's like, bro, fuck these guys. What do we do? And then out of nowhere, you have the craziest motherfucker that works with Spider-Man, Deadpool. Just as good, just as popular, sells tickets, sells merch, sells toys. You know what I mean? He's the guy.
Spider-Man makes $1 billion at the box office.
Deadpool's about to do the same thing
for this one-off. For this one-off.
And Aunt May doesn't got to catch one in the chest, dude.
Listen, Marvel is in no fucking situation to start getting cute and start thinking that they can start letting go of $1 billion fucking movies. No, you can't do that. You're it. Like, let's just keep it on. Let's keep it real.
Space.
They are not in the situation where they can just say, you know what, Spider-Man, I have Deadpool over here. You guys go ahead, get the fuck out of here. They're not in that situation. That's bad business. You cannot. You have to still bend to Sony. If they're gonna fucking shaft you and tell you to bend over and like it, you're gonna have to bend over and like it, because that makes $1 billion and it helps your fucking Marvel universe. Period.
Yeah, but they're not going to work with Sony that much anymore if they have something.
You're speaking from a what if. I'm telling you, they are not in no way, shape, or form thinking about letting Spider-Man go with Tom Holland.
Oh no, they're not going to let him go. They're not going to let him go, but they're not going to use him as much. So I bet you they bench him because they have Deadpool.
Okay.
I bet you they bench him more, and they just kind of like squeeze him out, because they got to squeeze out Spider-Man to get the rights back. That's all I got to say.
That movie makes that IP makes too much money. It makes too much money for them to squeeze, to not do anything with it, because you have Deadpool. Deadpool is a once every 2 year movie, once every 2 year drop. You're losing a lot of money.
What if you cameo Deadpool in the rest of your series? Because it's all based on that whole situation of the Secret Wars thing. You could put him in anything. Watch. I'm just gonna throw this out there, Nico, Brian. You could tell me if I'm wrong. But how much more cooler would the Marvels have been if you would have thrown Deadpool in it?
It would have been like that guy from the Mortal Kombat. Yahoo! He just pops out of the corner.
And I'm just asking, not trying to act weird or whatever. How much better would it have been to put Deadpool in the Marvels?
Let me ask you a question. If that were to happen, would that have turned the Marvels into $1 billion movie?
No, but it would have at least made basic.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. If you do that, how many movies from the Phase 4, if you would have put Deadpool in, would have made $1 billion because Deadpool was in it?
In Phase 4?
Honestly, out of all the storylines, I don't see him actually fitting in either one of them.
That's what's poking holes into Chris's whole story. Is like you can't just, even though he is one of those characters, you can't just pick him up and put him in your movie to carry your franchise.
But considering the fact that they're introducing this where he can jump in and jump out now, that wasn't introduced prior. So that would have just fucking thrown us through a loop. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it would have been hilarious. We would have been watching this shit on YouTube as clips every fucking time. That one clip alone on YouTube would have made like a fucking.
But Chris just asked specifically about the Marvels. So if we're going back and we're predating this and we're saying, well, if you take him from what we're supposedly going through now and putting him in an older movie, the Marvels, would that have made it? Basically, what I'm saying is, if you're gonna go away from Spider-Man, you're losing out on $1 billion movie, right? Potentially. Where are you getting that money from again? Where are you making up that money? Because you're gonna put Deadpool in movies that are in shit movies like the Marvels? You think that's gonna save? You think that's where the difference is gonna come?
Let me put this out there. It made $1 billion, but it made $1 billion not just Marvel. It made $1 billion for Sony, then Marvel.
Okay,
that's what it did.
$1 billion is $1 billion. Marvel.
You just said earlier that
Disney can still claim rights to that though.
Well, yeah, they're not going to be able to pocket that as if they were going to do the entire Deadpool.
That's still a feather underneath their cap. We just made $1 billion with this movie, right? We just made, regardless of what the splits are. Right, we were a part of $1 billion movie. Where are you going to be able to get that from anywhere else?
Well, which, if you want to break it down, that movie was literally the last movie that made that kind of money.
Okay, so then why would you get away from it then?
Because Deadpool is projected to make that in-house.
Because, dude, they're throwing just the most random fanfare shit in there to get us all pumped to go see it. Like that's what No Way Home was. That's not going to be every movie though.
That's what No Way Home was.
It wasn't. I mean, it turned into that, but that's not what sold it. That's what's selling this movie. Like what's selling this movie is that it's going to be the most crazy, insane, weird shit that fucking the most random people from 95, the first X-Men movie, they're gonna be showing up in here. Like that's gonna get people to see the fucking movie. But moving forward, you're not gonna have that in your back pocket.
Well, this is the first introduction to the X-Men being in the Marvel universe before Secret Wars comes out. So there's a huge possibility that after this movie, a handful of those people that are part of the cast that survive this incursion are going to be in Secret Wars. They're going to be signed on for multiple deals.
Well,
Hugh Jackman, 100%.
Okay, but that correlates to what you just asked me, and that was my belief. Like, depending on how this movie does and what characters possibly survive, and Easter eggs and all this other stuff, I think this can save the Marvel universe to branch out to other things and possibly, make it a little bit better than what we've had for the past 5 years. Yeah. That was what I was trying to say. Going back to what you were just talking about right now, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Like we've talked about this before, Brian, that we truly believe that after Secret Wars is going to be the Great Reset. Like that's it. Yeah. A whole new cast, whole new people, everything. Maybe they keep a couple handfuls. Definitely going to keep Daphne King as a new Wolverine. Having a female Wolverine lead for the next couple of years is right down the alley of the DEI stuff that they've always been incrementing, and it's natural and organic. And we just got confirmation that she's in the film with Wolverine. So and she's of age to be the Wolverine character now. So and Wolverine, of course, Hugh Jackman wants to retire. He's talked about it before, and he did retire. But the only reason why he's back is because of the opportunity to play alongside Chris Evans, Magneto, and all the characters he's been with before, being able to reprise and get an actual definitive end to his character with all the other Marvel characters. You know what I mean? That's
another hole. That's another hole in this, dude. Like if it wasn't for Hugh Jackman, we would not be talking about this movie making
at all. Yeah, that's 100%. Like I agree. And you don't think I 100% think that Hugh Jackman understands more than anybody in the world how important it is to have Wolverine and his appearance in the MCU. I think he understands that in a DNA vibe. Like this guy is Wolverine incarnate in the Marvel universe. For him not to take the effort while he still has time as an actor and be able to get in shape and do that stuff to make his entrance, like it would have been ignorant for him to be like, nah, man, I retired. I already did that with the Fox universe, and, hanging out in Dark Phoenix or whatever, which was the shittiest movie ever. Like, he was going to come back. It's just how much is he going to come back for? If they give him a three film thing and he dies the way he needs to leave Daphne King as a new Wolverine, he'll do it. I 100% agree he'll do it. And then to be able to act alongside his best friend, Ryan Reynolds, like, and make a silly movie that they could both kick the shit out of, like, something like, dude.
I hope for Marvel's sake, you guys are right, and this stupid ass fucking movie saves Marvel, because if it doesn't, bro, there's really big problems.
I think the biggest situation is it comes out and it's hyper successful. Like, I mean, fucking hyper successful.
And that's what we're looking at. This is going to be extremely successful.
Like, it's like, it's almost like mind boggling how successful I could see it happening in my head. Even if it's a bad written movie, it's still fucking successful.
I can see Marvel and Disney just sitting there afterwards, like swimming in the money, but then realizing that they got to do that again. And then they got to keep doing it again.
And that's my thing is with the drive that it gets from this movie, do they continue that effort? Like, do they continue to say, hey, you know what? In some way, we need to put one of these characters, spread them out throughout the other movies that we're going to have out. Thunderbolts, it needs a rogue. We'll just put her in randomly because they're dispersed across the multiverse or whatever. Like, you need to kind of like fuck with these characters.
If that's the case, I don't think it's going to.
Because that's the thing. The idea is the incursion is the Fox universe and this universe conversing.
Dude, like, I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention, but like the reports are that like the Captain America movie is shit. The fucking
reworks, a lot of reworks.
Blade is a shit show. Fucking.
Did you hear the last one? The last report for Blade was like, well, guys, it looks like Blade is finally gonna fight vampires in this movie. Like, it's just going to be Blade versus
them
vampires.
All of this time to realize that Blade probably needs to be fighting fucking vampires.
But like, that's the thing. Like, I think it just takes, like, it was a bunch of this shit. Like I told you, where they hired a bunch of these weird ass, like, I know what's best for this, let me do it. And they've never had the experience. And, we've talked about it before where it's like, bro, why don't they bring on Donny Cates? Why don't they bring in fucking the writers of the Marvel universe to sit at the table? Like, why do they have all these assholes being like, oh, well, we're hippies and we write fucking weird comic books, or we write weird movies. We totally know how to write these characters and we never read comic books. You know what I mean? Like,
the Thunderbolts has been said to be a fucking shit show. It's been rewritten. It's been rewritten plenty of times. So it's like, listen, we're gonna all have our fun with Deadpool, but then reality is gonna set in that we're still gonna have to muscle out these next couple movies, bro.
Well, I mean, the rumor is, and I'm just gonna put this out there before we call it a quit, that there's talks to have Emiliani Velasquez or whatever her name is, the fucking Marvel chick. I forgot her name. Emiliani, that's all I know. And Ryan Reynolds as these people that are like connaissance, kind of the people that kind of like correlate, like, hey, you know what? This correlates to the comic book more. This is what the fans want to see. Yeah. Let's work with that more than all of these, like, they're going to be like these people that kind of like engage in trying to keep them on the narrow of the comic book resource, which is what, I've been a huge fucking fighter for. These guys are going to be the ambassadors for it. And I can't wait if that's the case. If I end up getting something where someone says, hey, you know what? Like, Marvel has hired Ryan Reynolds as an ambassador and a person to keep continuity between each of the movies to Secret Wars. Bro, like, that's already a huge step in the right direction, because we know that Ryan Reynolds has a love for these characters. You know what I mean? And then, of course, the girl that plays Miss Marvel, she's the same way. She's gone out there and even like corrected Kevin Feige. You know what I mean? And went out there and balls deep and told him he was wrong. So if we get people like that care about the concepts, like, that's even more important for us. So even on to greater things. So, guys, Brian, first, I would like to say thank you. I know you're sick and you came out here and you sound fantastic. Maybe just some average boy
to argue.
Kind of what?
Still here to argue, bro. That's what I'm here for, man.
I was gonna say maybe some of the average boys kind of healed you up a little bit.
Of course.
But thank you for coming in, man. I know you're kind of like feeling pretty bad. I appreciate you a lot. And Nico, week 2, baby. Like, man, dude, you jumped right in and fucking hit it really strong. I appreciate you so much. it was real cool. I thank David for telling you and giving you a heads up to see if you wanted to come on. And yeah, man. Nico, where can people find you at in case they want to follow you on social media and your vendors and stuff, your vending stuff?
Oh no, it's just on Facebook. It's just Nico NYKO. Look me up. Last name's Cantu. But yeah, man. The only next big event that I personally have is going to be here at the Valley for PokeFest. That's going to be the next one, July 14th. So yeah, that's going to be my big event. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Badass. Can't wait, man. PokeFest is usually a baller event, man. It's always real fun. Brian, what else going on in your life, man? Everything good?
Everything is great, man. I just got just got work to do. Just got work and just relaxing. Need to take care of myself, man.
Yeah, straight.
You need to go to that resort. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, you need to get that resort.
No, that resort is already done. I'm gonna have some stories to come back, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
So it's gonna take like 20 minutes, bro, and it's gonna feel like a whole last month. Just make sure you're safe, man. Don't go out there and get like diddled or whatever by some weird guy, like
Either way, I'm gonna have a story to come back and tell you guys. So
yeah, make sure you wear your chastity belt. You don't want to take the ayahuasca and then wake up and some dude's like playing with your wee. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know why your brain automatically went there,
dude,
but
I don't know. I don't trust people, man. I don't trust people.
I'm a fucking grown ass man. You think I'm like you're talking to me like I'm fucking 9 years old getting molested by a fucking
camp counselor?
This guy said wee, bro. I'm done, yo. This guy said wee.
Well, guys, I want to say thank you very much. You guys be safe, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. To everybody that's out there, thank you so much to all our extraordinary listeners. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys so much here on the Average Boys Podcast. Thank you guys for following us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on all your cool podcasting apps and all that cool stuff. And don't forget to hit us up, DM us, tell us what you guys want to talk about or what you guys listen to and what you guys want us to give our opinion on. Until then, we'll see you guys again here on the Average Boys Podcast next Sunday, 8 p.m. Laters.